Yeah! I'm ready, baby! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And this is going to be fun. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. I hope your Monday has been a good day. And if it hasn't been such a great day, then I hope your Monday night beginning right now will end well for you. And it will turn out to be a good day when it's all said and done. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys for a while tonight. And we're going to talk some Scream. We're going to talk some Halloween. Honestly, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. It's going to be a night of fun, horror talk, hanging out, cutting loose. And it's the last Monday of the month, if you can believe that. September is quickly coming to a close. We are just over 2 weeks out from Halloween ends. Things are rapidly moving forward. Time stops for no one. In fact, it won't even take a break. It's going that quickly. So here we are, guys. Monday night, last Monday stream of September. Woo! It feels like this month has been insane. So much stuff. Still so much stuff I have on my to-do list that just continues to grow. But I'm working through it one at a time. So we'll get there. But helping me tonight are some amazing guests. I'm so excited to have my Craven Cut channel members here. The Craven Cut level members all are able to join tonight. So this is truly a real pleasure. And these three guests that are joining me tonight are genuinely strong pillars of this channel. And they support the channel at the highest level, which is incredibly, I'm incredibly grateful for and humbled for, and very appreciative of. And they are awesome guys, and you guys know them. You know, they're no strangers to the channel and to the chat and to the panel. Had them all on many times. So let me go ahead and bring them on, then we'll continue. So first up, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce the person who did my very first super chat. You know, little things in this journey stick out as things you remember. You remember your first video. You remember your first 1,000 subs. You remember there's little things along the way that you stick out and will always be a memory. Well, one of them is the very first super chat, because I didn't even know they were available. And so I'll never forget that night. I was like, oh, someone did a super chat. What? I mean, I still feel that way now every time one comes in. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. You guys know him. My gosh. And I mean, we're talking about, I don't even know how long he's been a member now. Probably 8 months at least. The one and only Bearded Entertainment. Right here, Eric. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. How you doing? I don't know why.
Good.
It brings me a lot of joy that I was able to send you your first super chat. Like, you're such a great channel. I really love supporting it. I love being on.
Aww.
Like, I think people who are such good people and bring a community together like you, I mean, you deserve to be supported like that. Like, I think you deserve all that you've gotten more.
Eric, that's so sweet. Thank you, man. Seriously, that's so kind of you. Well, that warms my heart. So now we both have hearts that are warm and burning right now. I love that.
I'm good with it.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, okay, let's keep it going. This is great. I love these guys. I love all three of these guys so much. Next up, I would like to introduce another individual who's been with the channel for quite some time. Actually, all three of them have, really, for a very long time. But he's gone through a name change. Now, when I first met him, it was simply Bob Hunt, and that was good enough. That was great. That was great. And then we had a name change, and I said, well, who's this in the chat? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, of course, then he shared who he is. It's me. And I love the name. So, guys, let's all go on a hunting expedition, because we're going to go hunting for we're going to go hunting for entertainment. Please welcome Bob Hunt. What's up, Bob?
Hey, not much. That really warmed my heart hearing that conversation. And without Bearded here being the first to be a Craven Cut, I would have known about the Craven Cut. So really, it's thanks to him that I became a Craven Cut because I didn't even know that was an option.
Dude, I
So
remember that night, Bob. Like, I will never forget that night. That both of you, it was like, oh my gosh, I was completely floored. Eric upgraded Craven Cut, and then you did like literally right then too, like you said. And I was just completely shocked and just in awe, and it got so emotional because I was overwhelmed by it. And so yeah, that was a special night I'll never forget when you guys did that
Well,
on
yeah,
that live stream.
I was on the panel and you said something
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, I just added a new level," and I just kind of slid into my laptop while I was on the panel, like, "Oh, let me just upgrade that really quick."
Yes,
yeah,
you're so slick. Both of you guys like under the radar. It's like, man, dude, you don't even see it coming. Eric's just sitting there on the panel, like looking normal, like he is right now, like and you don't know he's over there, like underneath everything, like striking an eyeball down real quick every once in a while. You can even notice it's great. Yeah, that was shocking. I was shocked and just so humbled and thankful. And you guys are amazing. And let's welcome also, guys, another a pillar of the community, another of my final Craven Cut level member who is an amazing guy. And I've just enjoyed getting to know him more and more over the last few months. And I'm very excited for the project he's working on as his fan film for Halloween, The Shape of Halloween. And I'm excited as the months move forward when we start getting to talk about it more in depth with him. But please welcome, you guys know him in the chat. He's always here supporting the channel. Brett James Bishop. Welcome, Brett. I love the sound effects.
I think I nailed it that time.
You did.
It's good
Man,
timing.
so good timing.
Thank you. It's all about timing.
It always is, man.
Yeah. Of course, I like to
Timing
echo
and
everything.
execution.
Yeah, I like to echo everything that Bob and Eric said about you, Craven.
Oh,
Of
thank you,
course,
man.
it wasn't even a second guess decision to become the level I'm at with you, with the channel, I should say.
Well, yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I was so again just taken back. You guys, all three of you, just wow. I've enjoyed. Before you guys were Craven Cut members, it was great, and just anyway, just talking and everything else, getting to know you. And when you guys did that, I still just am so humbled, and so thank you guys, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Man, okay, so let's see here, guys. Real quick, let's see what we got in the chat. We got a lot of folks here tonight, and that's awesome.
Right.
Love it. But let's see. We got. Let me scan up here. Oh, hey, real quick before we dive too far into it, I see a super chat has come through. Let me get that pulled up because super chats go to the front of the line. And Sarah, what's up, Sarah? How you doing with the $5 super chat? Thank you. This is in honor of the Bearded Entertainment's first super chat to you. Aw, that's cool. Awesome.
Do you remember how much it was for?
I was trying to remember, man.
$1.
$1 million. Yeah. I'd remember that. I remember $1 million. No, I'm trying to remember, Eric. I don't honestly remember. I've thought I was like. It seems to me it was like $10 maybe, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I might go back and check. I know YouTube does give me receipts for like all those things.
Oh yeah.
So I might go back and check just to see. But I want to say like you were the first super chat I ever sent too. I don't know if that makes any difference. Yeah, I didn't know what super chat was. I'm gonna be honest. I really just wanted to be part of the conversation. So I'm like, oh, what if I do this? And then maybe we'll get there.
That's so cool. Well, how about that? It was a first for you and a first for me. I mean, that's amazing, man. That's so cool. Yeah, I would love it if you look that up and see when that was. It was a long time ago. It was first of the year, I think, somewhere around there. I think I got monetized in like January or February, early February. So it would have been somewhere around that February March time frame, something like that.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and see if I can find it.
Oh, that's so cool. Because I remember, like, I set it up, I got a little notification that says, "Oh, you're not eligible for Super Chat apply. You can apply for Super Chats." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So I put the thing through, and they said, it takes up to 30 days to get a response back, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't think any more about it. I'm like, oh, it's a month away before I hear back. And I was sitting there on the chat, and then, on the stream, and all of a sudden, bam, Beard Entertainment pops up with this. I was like, what is this? That's $1. That's $1 amount. I was like, what is the dollar amount?
$1.
What is this? But it was like $10 or whatever it was. But I'm like, there's a money on this thing. I'm like, this is cool. It was, and again, all my drilling was just pumping because I didn't even know. It was like, oh my gosh, it's just very humbling that someone would want to support the channel, and just still to this day, it blows my mind that you guys are so generous. And so I could say thank you a million times and still feel like I haven't said it enough, because I really appreciate it.
New languages. New languages.
New languages. There you go. That's funny.
No,
I can now say thank you in 12 languages. And well, Sarah, for your super chat, it just seems like are you guys feeling a little spicy tonight?
Always.
I knew it.
Always.
I knew it.
I mean,
always.
Is there never not a time for spicy mustard? I mean, really, let's be honest.
No, always.
I do enjoy some spicy mustard sometimes.
Sometimes
That's
you
good.
got to have a little bite with your hot dog.
I'm glad you guys do.
let's fire it up. Here we go, Sarah, for your $5 super chat. Let's get your voices ready to sing, because it's song and dance time with the hot dog.
Do you feel the hunger tonight?
Are you a little hungry?
I wanna
be a hot dog. Be a hot dog. I'm a hot dog. Yeah, there you go, Brett.
You wanna take a bite. If you ever dip me in spicy mustard, then you can.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm a hot dog.
Wow.
I'm trying to time it out so when I watch it on replays to see if I'm on or not. I'm trying to work it out.
Yeah. Oh, and of course we got the whole delay working. So we're all out of rhythm, which is beautiful, which I think is chaotic. It's beautiful chaos. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Chaotic mustard.
Chaotic mustard.
What's up, Brandon? Good to see you, man. Glad you're here, man.
He's one of my favorites.
He's great. Carrie says, I've gone to meetings to get this song out of my head, but you know what? Who cares? That's right.
Got to meetings. Hilarious.
I don't know what kind of meetings are getting that away.
No.
Different type of steps
I
there.
could tell you what meeting gets it away from me, but that song's just as annoying, so it doesn't really help.
Oh, you replaced it with something else?
Oh, yeah. Replacement.
Actually, every Saturday I have no choice when it comes to college football.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I am South Carolina through and through, but I am getting so annoyed with that song Sandstorm.
Oh.
How does it go? How does it go, Bob?
Oh, I'm not getting him copyright. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't want a copyright claim here.
I
Let's hold up.
didn't think he was gonna do it. I was just harassing.
Oh, I would do it if it wouldn't get copyrighted. But that song, once I just did 2 notes from it. I had to edit a video once on a prior channel. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing college football reviews again.
Oh, dang.
That's funny.
That's hilarious. So real quick, in the chat, we've got, again, a lot of folks here, guys. I'm going to go through and try to catch everybody, but we got nearly 50 people, so I won't be able. I'm going to say a big blanket hello to all of you here, and I'm scrolling. I see your names, so trust me. I know you're here. If you've left a message, I'm seeing you guys. I'm looking at all the names now. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight for the live stream. Carrie says we have some amazing guests alongside Raven. Yes, we do. Absolutely. So thank you guys for being here. And there has been a few milestone messages here, which I don't see in StreamYard. So just so you guys know, if you're a channel member and you get another thing where it says, you're at a 4-month anniversary or 8-month or whatever anniversary, if you leave that special note, it shows up in YouTube with really nice and big green. But in StreamYard, it does not. It doesn't give me any indication.
Oh.
So if you ever wonder, like, well, hey, he's ignoring my milestone, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So just keep that in mind. But I do see one here from Cody, 4-month anniversary of a channel member. Thank you, Cody. At 4 months, says, what are your thoughts on the Damar series? Damar, Dahmar. Help me out, guys.
Oh, Dahmer.
Damar. Oh my gosh, the Dahmer series. Yes, not Damar.
I just started it. I just got through the first episode.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
It's very, very creepy. It's on Netflix. But yeah, Evan Peters is great in it. He plays a very convincing Jeffrey Dahmer, and I don't know, like, there's been several Dahmer movies and shows come out before, but I don't know what it is about him in this particular one, but just like the atmosphere in it is so creepy. It just feels unsettling from the time the show starts until it ends.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like it could be fun.
It's good. It's really, really good, but it's heavy.
Okay, gotcha. Well, plus knowing it's based in reality, that's a little different vibe too. Yeah. I'm assuming it is, right? I mean, based on
it is.
crime.
Yeah, it is based off like real like the real police case files and stuff. But there's we all know about Jeffrey Dahmer at this point, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's okay. Well, there's a point in the first episode, where they don't even linger on it, but you see him open a door to grab a beer. He opens the door to the fridge to grab a beer. If you blink, you'll miss it. But there's just a severed head on the bottom shelf of the refrigerator.
Oh dang! Yeah.
Like they don't even linger on it, and it doesn't affect the plot because you already know what's going on. But if you're really paying attention and you catch it, it just chills kind of run over you because it's so nonchalant. Oh,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Very unsettling. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got you.
I'm gonna be checking it out.
Oof.
It's definitely worth a watch. It's crazy.
Wow. So just scrolling through the chat, making sure saying hello to everyone. You guys are amazing, and love to see all of the Cravenites here tonight showing up for the live stream. It's always
They're
great to
here.
see you. They are coming out in droves. Love that.
The cult has risen.
The cult has
Cult has risen.
the cult has conjugated.
Yes. We are shunting. No, we're not doing that. That's we'll say that for the society. That movie completely messed me up, man.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, I tell you. Hey, also real quick. Oh, you remember that? You remember that movie, Bob?
Oh
Do
yeah.
you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. I don't think that's one you can't forget. Like if you watch that movie, you're not going to forget that movie. It's just
No, you won't.
man. What's up? Chris from Discover Montreal says he finished it last night. It's great, but very heavy and very close to reality. Yeah, that's the tone of that's got to be really, really dark. Yeah. Val says I'm not excited about it. She lives in the city it happened in.
Oh no.
Just wish it would go away. Dang.
Boo.
Yeah, that's different perspective there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Danny says you got to do a watch party for Terrifier. I've never seen Terrifier. So that's really okay.
I've heard a lot about it. I've seen clips, but I've never actually seen the movie.
Maybe we should do that sometime. Seriously.
Start her up. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, Brad.
I do that every time.
Lee says the cult leader calls us, we answer. I love it, Lee. That's awesome. Even in Finland at like friggin' 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., whatever time it is you're here staying up to watch this, be a part of this stream. That's amazing.
So cool.
So speaking of real quick, oh yeah, and Jen also real fast. Jen Werner has her 8-month anniversary of being a channel member.
Jen does.
Jen is 8 months to this month. So Jen, thank you for your loyal support and your faithful support of the channel. So cool, and the content. I appreciate you so much. That's amazing. I was just chatting with her earlier. What's up, Destination Station? What's going on, dude?
Destin!
What's up, buddy?
What's happening, man? And Denisha's in the house. What's up, Denisha?
Hey, Denisha.
All right. Real quick, talking about being a channel member, and then we're going to start diving in to Scream and Halloween. Guys, as you guys are here and listening to us and watching and hearing us about channel members, you can become one right now on the live stream. All you have to do is simply click the join button. It's right next to subscribe. If you enjoy the content on this channel and you would like to support it and help me continue to grow it and continue to put out more videos more often and more live streams, all you need to do is hit that join button, and you got 5 different levels to choose from first cut all the way up to the Craven cut level, which all 3 of my guests tonight chose to do. They're all Craven cut channel members, the highest tier supporters, but I appreciate all of you and all of your support no matter what level. It means a lot to me. All right, so I would love to see you come aboard. And real quick, I want to give some attention and support for my channel members. So guys, I'm going to put the spotlight on you for just a minute and say thank you. So here you go, guys. This is for you. So much.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that it takes up multiple screens. You got so many. You got to fit on multiple screens. You deserve it, man.
And every single person, no matter the tier, is awesome. Every single person in there, even though those joining us right now for the first time, or maybe a couple times in. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't do this out. Well, Craven can't do this out. I shouldn't take credit for that, but it helps me be here. So thank you.
That's right. Oh, thank you, guys. It's absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and it really is, man. So humbling when I update that slide every time with a new name. It's like, wow, because when I started this whole thing, and I know we're gonna start talking hard. Don't worry, but when I started this thing, having channel members available, I was like, man, I don't think, if I could get 5 members, I would be ecstatic. Like, I seriously would be like blown away to have 1 member, much less 5 or 10, and to see how it's grown. You guys have just continued to really blow me away with your generosity. So thank you. I just need to have a little banner that just says thank you, like, constantly without ever stopping.
It just keeps scrolling. Thank you.
You could do different languages with that too.
There you go.
I could change it up like every 30 minutes. I'll do a new language. Just comes up. Nobody. Some languages, like, get some crazy language like no one knows. Like, I don't even know what it would be. And it's just like,
get like Pashto or something. Like, something in there.
Mm-hmm. And just say, hey, man, it's all here. Thank you. But anyway, guys, if you want to join, you can do it right now, and we can all welcome you into the cult of Craven on the live streams. It'd be awesome. All right, let's get to it, gents. So A lot of stuff going on. Halloween ends. Let's start there. So we get the word out today. We find out that tomorrow we will get the final trailer for Halloween Ends. It's 2 weeks from the well, almost basically 2 weeks from Friday it comes out. But tomorrow we're getting the final trailer. So Eric, start with you. What are your thoughts on this final trailer? What do you want to see from it? What do you think?
So, I mean, I think I'm different than everyone else because we talked about it a little bit backstage. I don't mind spoilers. I love seeing everything like as soon as possible. I wouldn't be upset if they did give new footage in it, and I think they will. But I think it'll be not very much new footage, and I think it'll be, for lack of a better word, useless footage. Like it's not gonna. I don't think they'll spoil anything. I think they might have learned their lesson. At least I hope they did. But I don't think they'll spoil anything. I think honestly it's probably going to be a lot of stuff we've already seen from TV spots in the other trailers, and maybe a few stills or like split second new footage that misdirects.
Yeah. Or in my case, that I'll slow down to quarter speed and lock in every single frame for that little frame and blow it up, brighten the image, and see everything, right? But yeah, thankfully that's not the average. Like that's not normal. Like I get it. I'm not like I know not everyone who watches a trailer says, "Oh, I got to go home and slow it down, break it down, clip it out, brighten it up, add some color." And that's not what everyone does, and the studio knows that, so they'll throw those in there. But you know,
I want them to start doing what like Marvel does, like because Marvel. This is going to be a spoiler for Avengers: Infinity War. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's several years old. But you know, in the trailer for that one, you see all the heroes like running out to battle, and you see Hulk in there. Hulk wasn't even in there. They just added him for the trailer.
That shot,
like it was, that shot wasn't even in the movie, and it's the same thing with Evil Dead. That when they remade Evil Dead, there was several shots in the trailer that didn't even show up in the movie. They were just there to misdirect.
There's a lot of trailers like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they could do something like that.
Why doesn't for some reason the horror genre hasn't gotten the memo? Because they just keep on showing everything, unfortunately. And that Scream 5 trailer, perfect example. Yeah. I remember Chad Villella from Radio Silence. He said this trailer is very misleading. It's filled with misdirection. I mean, I remember him reading his quote in an interview. And I'm like, oh, this is exciting because most of these shots probably won't even be in the movie. What happened, dude? Every shot.
You see Amber on fire.
You see Amber on fire. You see Sam stabbing Richie. You see everything except the one shot that I wish it was in the movie. The silhouette of Ghostface on the wall, which they didn't even show.
That was such a cool shot.
I know.
That was such a cool shot.
Trailer that should have been in the movie.
Yeah, that's the one thing they should have kept in the trailer. I mean, they should have kept it in the movie, and they cut that scene. Everything. So I don't trust, man. I do not trust these studio marketing people. They just don't get it, unfortunately. And again, for what I call the mainstream casual fan, like the one who doesn't scrutinize it, they're not really watching it more than once. They don't care. That's who they're catering to, which is the broad majority. It so happens that everyone here tonight, we're not in that group. We're a much more committed group to these franchises, and we are the diehards. We're the ones that are going to tear it apart. We're going to scrutinize every scene, you know, and break it down and try to connect dots and theorize. So, unfortunately, because we're the minority, we're the smaller group, you know, they don't really care a whole lot about us seeing the movie spoiled, unfortunately. But you know, it is what it is, right? We all can make our own decisions. We all have our own thresholds, and if your threshold is that, you know what, I'm not going to watch that the trailer tomorrow. Like you've seen enough. I respect that. You know, we will all each own our own eyeballs, if you will, and what we watch. But you know, as content creators, it's a little different because we really have to watch it. Like I've got to watch this trailer. I have to break it down. I need to get content out. People want to know because if I don't, and this is a great problem to have, I'm not complaining, but if I don't break that trailer down, my DMs, I will never be able to answer them all. Of people saying, "What did you think of the trailer? Did you watch the trailer? Did you think about the?" And so, and I love that. I love you guys. You're awesome. So that's why I'm just gonna watch it. I'm just gonna watch it, and I'll have a video out tomorrow. So anyway, we'll see. Bob, how about you, man? Tell me your thoughts on the trailer coming up.
Well, I don't think they are going to spoil anything this time around. I think Kills for them really was a special case because of what happened prior to it being so delayed. And then it pretty much being leaked what was going to happen. So they kind of just threw the cards out and said, let's see if we can still get people in the box office. I think this time around, since most theaters are going to be open, they'll put some new stuff in maybe for a split second to where, yeah, when we see breakdowns and that, it'll ruin our experience. But for the casual viewer, I don't think that those people are going to have to worry. I think we'll be safer until review breakdowns happen. That's just my personal thought. Because they did such a good job with the teaser this time around. It's something I've taken notice to. A lot of teasers usually do a horrible job. This one set the right tone for Halloween Ends, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
I hope
I'm excited
so.
to see what they do. I just hope they don't go overboard. And I don't think they will. I'm putting a lot of faith in them.
Yep, and you plan to watch the trailer, right? You're gonna watch it tomorrow. Are you planning to watch it, or are you gonna
Yes.
skip it? Okay.
I'm going to watch it, but I might not watch it immediately. I might do it when I have some free time with my family, let them see it, and I can see it for the first time that way. Then I can go on my own spree of spoiling it for myself. Like, oh, let's go hear everybody's reviews on this.
Yep. Well, if it releases in the morning, I'm gonna try to have. Like I've already got some appointments in the morning and stuff I've got to get done, but I hope it'll probably honestly be late afternoon. It's probably the earliest my video will come out. It may even be tomorrow night, but I'll put one out tomorrow at some point during the day. But yeah, man, it's gonna. I'm excited to see it. I'm nervous though, because they really have shown a lot already that I just don't want to see. There's still things that I think are going to be a surprise right now, but if they show a little bit more, they may not be a surprise anymore. Like I think we're that close to kind of spoiling pretty much the whole movie. So we'll see. I mean, there's 3 endings, right? So who knows? Maybe they are doing a masterful job and they learn from Kills, and maybe we're going to get some bait and switch. That would be amazing. But I just don't have. That's not my expectation. These studios have not earned my trust yet. Let's put it that way for trailers. Brett, how about you, man? Are you going to watch the trailer tomorrow? Or are you going to wait?
See. We'll see. I think it's going to play it super safe, to be honest with you. I think we might get some new stuff, but honestly, with what you said earlier, that the diehard fans, they're already bought tickets. Like that's what the studio looks at us as. It's already bought. So right now it seems like with how they have been doing a lot of the marketing with showing 78 a lot and saying this is the final thing, the whole marketing of it ends here. I think it's gonna totally go hardcore into that and show a lot more of just like older stuff and harp on, this is the end, because that's how you get your middle America. That's how you get like some of these territories that aren't necessarily movie going or streaming, subscribing type people, because this trailer has to do 2 things at once. It has to sell tickets, but it also needs to bring in subscription for Peacock that might not necessarily exist yet. For those who aren't going to go to the movie anyway, because there's people that go to a movie once a month or even less. So it's like they know that now that's a market and they need to do so. It needs to appeal to both in a way of this is something you guys have grown up on for 40 plus years, and this is something that we're going to bring to, closure to. So I think it's really going to delve and really focus on that as far as the trailer. I don't know if it's going to show so much more story, but I'm sure there'll be imaging that might be spoilery. But that's just my prediction on what it's going to be. But I'm probably going to watch it just because my curiosity is my Achilles heel. So it gets me in trouble. So it's hard not to see it. But I probably won't watch it over and over. I'll probably just view it once, and we'll see.
One shot, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I hear you. I really do hope we get just a rehash of what we've already seen.
Yeah.
You know, and nothing new. What's up, Eric? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I got a question.
Oh yeah.
I just wondered, do you guys ever, after you watch a movie, like a big movie like this, go back and rewatch the trailers to see like how they like misled and stuff?
I am a big fan of movie trailers in general. I have my own folder in my YouTube account, or whatever, that just says best trailers, and I actually love that marketing aspect of it. So I'm kind of different in that response, but I do that. I'll go back to trailers and just see, like, or I'll even remember them because I'm just that guy. But yeah, as it's going, and that kind of ruins it too, because you're kind of like, well, this can't end here because there was these clips for later, but were those misleading? So it kind of makes it fun while you're watching it. But yeah, totally what you're saying. Yep.
Well, I like doing it because then you can see those like misdirects, or like maybe not even necessarily misdirects, but just something they showed you that you just completely didn't understand about the story.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing that because you can see, like, oh, you see this image and you think it's one thing, but in the context of the movie, the entire opposite. So yeah, I just wondered if anyone else does that, or if it's just me.
That's also definitely a Marvel thing with what you're saying earlier, because even especially with Endgame, they were showing clips where the suits are CG, and in the trailers they didn't have those suits on. In some of them, in some of the teasers and things, like, it'd be different clothing. So even down to that, of just like, what did they change? You know, but it does suck when you get a trailer that does those additional footage, has that additional footage in it, that actually is cooler than what you get in the movie. All I remember is that one Predators movie a couple years ago, or a few years ago, where they had all the Predator. I think it was Adrian Brody was in it. I think the right one. And then in the trailer, they have it where all of these different, you know, like the aim marks, like there was like 100 on the one person, and that was just for the trailer. But I didn't see the movie, but I heard that was just for the trailer. So
it was.
That would have been cool to have that in the movie.
Yeah, I personally don't make a point to do that. Like, I don't say, like, okay, now where do you want to go back? And the only reason I don't is because I generally watched the trailer so many times before the movie that I literally I know every scene inside and out of that trailer. Like, I have broken it down by frame and watched it over and over again. So I'm usually sick of the trailer, to be honest with you. But when I go to the movie, it's like I don't want to watch that trailer again. I need a break because I've seen it 100 some odd times, and half of those in slow motion. So it's like I never felt the need, like, oh, I want to go back now. But I think it might be fun to do when there's been some space between the two. That might be fun, like to go back and watch the Kills trailer now. A year later, it could be interesting. I think
Kills was an interesting. Kills kind of stood on its own, in my opinion, with the trailer, because going into the movie, it was very obvious that because we had another chapter. Yeah. Later, Wayne, that we had another chapter, that the two stars were gonna make it through. So
yes.
Up until that point, I was like, I don't think they can spoil anything for me, like in the trailer. Like, you can show me this person's gonna get killed and this person's gonna get killed, but like, I know Michael and Laurie are gonna be alive at the end of this movie. Short of that, like, so I think it was I don't know, it was just an interesting entry into the whole thing, because I wasn't worried about spoilers at all with that one.
Yeah. Now, Bob, how about you, man? How do you feel about Stirs? Because Eric was asking us, like, do you go back and watch the trailer after the movie to kind of compare notes or what have you?
Sometimes it depends on how much I've seen the trailer, whether by force or not, like if I'm watching like a lot of sporting events, like I do, if I see a trailer so much, I'm burned out on the trailer by the time it's come out because it's always on as the commercials. So normally I don't, but I think I'm gonna try with ends. I'm gonna try to avoid seeing it as much and do it right after I watch it on Peacock after live reaction, and I might even give a live like reaction to what changed in the trailer. So I might take it down that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Hey, man, it's a cool idea to go back, especially if you haven't seen it a ton beforehand, to revisit it again, and it is interesting to see how many scenes of these movies don't make it in, like just in multiple, like any movie, just doesn't matter what movie. It seems like every film there's always scenes in the trailer that never are included, right? And usually they're just little inconsequential scenes. But
sometimes they're
you know?
awesome, like a T-Rex roaring in front of an outdoor movie theater that was not in the actual theatrical cut.
Oh my gosh.
I was so mad about that. I'm a big Jurassic fan. If you don't know.
It's all good. I love the first one. I haven't seen the last one, the newest one.
Skip it.
Really? Yeah.
If you do
Sorry.
watch it, watch the extended cut if you're going to do it.
Okay.
You know, because it has this whole opening. They actually released in front of F9 in IMAX, and then they cut it out of the movie.
Oh.
Which it actually bookends what happens at the end of the movie. Bookends, obviously, but you know, it actually puts a little more depth into the final showdown. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
It gives a little more gravity of why, anyway. But without it, even in the theater, everyone's like, "Oh, okay, what was that about?" it was weird, anyway. Not to derail the conversation there.
No, you're good. Speaking of, I'm not really speaking of derailing it because that's not what I'm going to do. I thought I had a brilliant thought, but well, I do want to mention, guys, as we're continuing our discussion, if you've not subscribed, ladies and gentlemen, you amazing 50 plus people that are with us right now, if you have not subscribed to the Bearded Entertainment, and don't forget the word "the." All right, you've got to put the Bearded Entertainment. And I know that the General and Val is here. What's up, Val? Is here manning the chat. And I believe she's already put links, but there's also links in the description. If live stream right now, I put it in there earlier. But check out the Bearded Entertainment. Go subscribe, and Brett James Bishop as well, and Hunting for Entertainment. Links to all of their channels in the description. They are great guys, amazing supporters of me and the channel, and both. And I can't tell you how much I respect the three of these guys. They're great people. They really are. And so I just telling you right now, go subscribe, show them your love over there. Let's give them some Cravenite love on their channels. And there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out on what's going to be coming up these next few months. You know, Bob is over there. He's turned into a gaming machine, man. I jumped on, bro. I jumped on one of your streams. It was what was the name?
Fallout.
Yeah.
Doing survival mode.
Yeah, that was entertaining, man. I was like, I had a little break in the action, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go jump over here and just. I don't typically watch gameplay stuff, right? I know it's really, really popular, but I was like, I'm going to go check it out. And because, I want to support Bob. So I go on there and I'm watching him and I'm like taking a break and like having a snack or something while I'm trying to get work done. And I'm like, this is fun. I'm like, he's narrating what he's doing. He's like, I'm going to reload here. I got to check my stock. And, I'm like, this is cool.
So check it out. Sounds like you know what you're doing with it. A lot of these guys you watch, it's really annoying. But that sounds like you know what you're doing, so that's cool.
With Fallout, no, you never know what's in survival mode. You just gotta pray and hope for the best, because everything can go wrong in this matter of 2 seconds.
Well, I meant that you know how to narrate and keep like the viewer involved in what you're doing. That's what
I tried.
Yes,
I tried to. It's something I gotta work on, but I'm getting there.
Dustin.
Yeah, what's up, Dustin? Good night, buddy.
Later, Betty.
Sleep well, my friend.
Have a great sleep.
But yeah, I really enjoy it. And Bearded, it's got some great reviews, and I know that Eric, you've got some stuff on the radar as well, right?
I've already got 2 videos filmed that I'm editing.
There
I'm
you go.
starting actually like a state of horror like series where each week I go over like where the major franchises are, because we're getting a lot.
Nice.
I mean, we're getting a lot of news on what seems like a lot of news. It's mostly, unfortunately, still speculation at this point with Friday. I'm so hopeful for a new Friday, and we're starting to see. I mean, I assume you saw the Sean S. Cunningham thing and his like
Yep.
cameo. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, I'm just doing a video. Like I've got 2 of them filmed already, where it's like each week it's the whatever popular series, and just going over like, hey, this is where we are on the potential of getting new content in that series.
Awesome, man. Guys, I can't wait to watch that. Make sure you're subscribed, have put on the bell notification, so when these new videos drop, you guys can get notified. And Brett, Brett, see, now Brett here, look, here's the thing. He's got nothing going on. He has nothing but free time.
So bored.
He's so bored. He's got, it's not like he's making a movie
I just play
or
with
anything.
Puppets. I play with puppets all day.
This
That's all I do.
true. It's so true. Yeah. Tell the people what you're working on, my man.
What am I working on? Let's see. So we had our it's called FanX. That's our Comic-Con this weekend. So this is what I was handing out, trying to get people involved. And this QR code here, put your phones to this. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you can, the handle is at Shape of Halloween on Instagram is the main one to really look at. You can see all the clips, but you can see a lot more of the production behind the scenes like photos, more than you can on the YouTube page. So that's also maybe something to maybe change the link on. I don't know for sure. However, you guys,
I can change.
I appreciate whatever you do, but yeah, I'll send it to you, whatever. But anyway, man, we have. I have a leg injury, but yeah, we have this whole week is so jam packed because we have our finale, our big Michael Laurie showdown, filming this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's like I got to be in top shape for that. But it's gonna be intense and a lot of fun. There's gonna be some very kind of familiar things from '78, and then we mix it up a little bit. And I'm really excited. I can't really talk about it. I realized I'm giving so much away, but there's a line, and one day, Craven, I'll tell you about it. There's a line we added that we're gonna take ownership of, and that's why I'll word that. Maybe after, if you can remember, if I remember backstage, I'll tell you what it is. But yeah, it's really iconic what we're doing, and a lot of our actors we've wrapped. Like we're getting there. So once we're done with this weekend, we have 2 more smaller days, and then we're done. So it's been a long time. It's been a long shoot, but a lot of things have popped up. But we have the most amazing cast, most amazing cinematographer with Leon Clayton, the most amazing assistant director. I'm dropping names. I don't care. Caden Corbett, because they watch these. Look at that. That's Derek Ritchie is the shape, man. He's terrifying, and just the way he moves is just so creepy and it's so reminiscent. But it's also his own thing. So it's nice. It's a lot of fun. There's that bridge. That's from Halloween 4.
Yeah,
they filmed at. That's the same location. And
now, is that going to be as iconic as the cell tower, or?
Sir, that remains to be seen. But I'm going to go on a ledge here and say it's going to be better. Now, I don't know. Well, it's more iconic in the fact that that scene in Halloween 4 only had Loomis at that location, and we have brought Michael Myers to that location for the first time on film, and so that makes it a little more historic for everyone. But there was a moment. I'll share a little story with you guys. I've said it kind of on other ones, but I'll tell you really fast. There was a moment when we were out there on set, and my camera guys were around the corner because that's kind of a long road, it's a big location, and there's people down there by the river that come down with their families and stuff. So there's people there, but we were blocking Derek on the bridge and his walking, the pacing, and making sure we're getting everything down. We had a truck pull up, and this guy goes, "Hey, do you know who that is on the bridge?" And we thought, this guy's just being goofy. I was like, "No, it's Michael Myers." And he goes, "Are you serious? You don't know who it is?" And then we realized he was being serious. I was like, No, we're making a movie. I'm like, it's fine, whatever. And he goes, "Oh." He's like, okay. Okay. And he brings his phone up to his face and finishes his call and then tells us he's off-duty police officer and he was on the phone with dispatch because there's somebody with a knife walking on the bridge. And that's all he could see is this creep with a mask. So, cool that people, when they see something, they say something. That's still awesome. And B, is that we sold it. That he was a menacing force that was up there with a knife. So that was pretty a funny moment. But I got my actor over to come over and smooch it over with him, and I went and talked to the assistant director, telling them what was going on. And we looked back, and the dude's out of his truck. They're taking selfies, and like so, it all worked out. But
that's a good way to get a production shut down, right there.
Yeah, and it was still private property, so they could have totally kicked us out. But he was a big fan of Halloween, so. I'll never name who he is so he doesn't get in trouble, but you know who you are out there. But we appreciate it.
Yeah. Nice. Wow. Well, I know we'll have lots more stories to hear as things wrap up and you get post-production done and we get closer to the trailer and all that fun stuff. So
you're exclusive.
I know. I'm so excited. So I'm going to be the exclusive channel on YouTube that will be airing the trailer for Brett when it's done. And he'll be, I'm sure, going to lots of places after that. But I get to be number one, the very first.
If it does. Yeah.
Yep. And,
you're number one.
Always be number one. So love that.
We're 80s kids, right? Some of us maybe. But anyway, really fast. So when for my Comic-Con, this is what I got, and I know it has nothing to do with anything. But look at that. I wanted one of these forever. It's from the Never-Ending Story.
Nice,
is that
dude.
Neat? Anyway, I'm sorry. I got it out because I'm like, I have to show these guys because they're gonna know what it is.
Never-Ending Story.
There you go.
Oh man,
I love
that's awesome.
That one season of Stranger Things. I'm not gonna explain that season, but I love that song from there.
Oh yep,
the way it played out.
Yeah, man, that was a great season.
Can I question that? What is that? The spoilers for my movie on Reddit?
Yeah, I think he's kidding around. I think
it's like, am I on Reddit?
No, someone's got a hold of your script, Brett. They're spoiling.
There's a couple people that I wouldn't be surprised if they would do that. So I'm like, wait a second.
You might want to check though, because
I think I might check really fast just for fun.
In today's society, anything's possible.
Yeah, you never know what can end up on Reddit.
If so, then great. Be more excited about it because whatever's in the script, our production has changed a lot because we've had to. So even if you read the script, you still don't have some of the really good stuff that's in there. So I'm not too concerned.
Oh man, it's gonna be awesome. And so guys, as his film moves along, I'll definitely be having images and we'll be doing the trailer when it comes out. I can't wait. That'll be a fun night for sure.
I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. Brandon says Stranger Things is definitely my favorite show. Oh yeah, man. It's good. This last season has been my personal favorite, season 4 of the show. Definitely the closest to being a horror than of any season, in my opinion. So, yeah. It's a good show.
I have to agree.
All right, so guys, let's talk now about Halloween Ends. What are some theories, guys? What are some? Let's see, like Brett with Brett now. Reverse the order. So Brett, reverse it, man. So you're up first. Tell us what are some theories you have about what you think we may see. No, I mean, we're not talking spoilers because none of us know. We're just talking theories. None of us know. What do you think we're going to see with relation to Corey, copycat, all this stuff? What are your thoughts?
I've been kind of out of the loop on it on purpose, but from what I've seen more recently, I'll tell you what I'm happy that we'll see, and then go into theory, I guess. I'm just happy because I only thought Laurie was going to be in that one scene in the first trailer, and it's nice to see her character in different atmosphere, in different environments. That's how I word that. So I don't know if there's people who haven't seen. Well, anyway, but so it looks like she's in the movie a lot more than I thought she was going to be. So I'm really excited.
Gotcha.
That wasn't like a Halloween Resurrection situation.
Oh,
so I'm happy about that. Happy about that.
I hope not.
The Corey situation. I mean, it's hard to not go into spoilers because I don't know how much people have seen. Oh, Jen.
Night, Jen.
I'm glad you enjoyed Quantum Leap. I'm glad Quantum Leap did well for you. By you. Yes. That's good. But as far as, again, I don't know what everyone has seen. So the B-roll stuff I've seen and stuff. So I don't know if that's considered spoiler. So I don't want to go.
I don't consider anything that's been released really a spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as long as for me, if it's put out by the studio, it's out there for consumption. A spoiler is something that has not been released by the studio, and a guy knows it, or girl knows it, and they leak it out. That's the stuff
Okay.
I want to stay away
Okay.
from. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally in the dark with that stuff. So great. All right.
Same.
So I think I actually like the idea of Corey, and I know that there's the copycat idea. I hope he's not a copycat to the point where he's wearing stuff, like wearing the costume. But I love the idea that he's maybe an architect behind the scenes of things that happened. I think that might be something that goes down. Why he gets close to Allison, why he gets kind of involved in the whole family to the point where he could tell Lori, like, what are you going to do when Michael comes back? Because he's coming back, which, the theory with that is just that he really is obviously has met him. He's looked into Michael's eyes, and I wonder if they're going to dive into that. And I think they will dive into that mythology of when you look into his eyes, part of you kind of becomes part of him as far as your soul. That's how it is in my film, by the way. So I kind of hope they do dive into that because it's really fun to dive into that idea. And anyway, but yeah, and so as far as what else we'll see, I'm just excited that I'm excited to see that Jamie Lee will be, or I guess Lori will be, kind of in the same position she was in the first movie. I think that's what they're definitely going for, where she's unsuspecting that this violence is coming back, and that I think that puts. I like that. That's the theory. I'm trying to figure out if I'm trying to say what I'm excited for or what my theories are. It's kind of like the same right now because I don't know. I don't have any real big theories, but I definitely, I really don't want her to die, but I think they're going to kill her off. And
You do, yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things. Her and Gail
Yeah.
Weathers. I
Oh,
can't
man.
handle. Well, I guess we'll get to that in an hour, but
Yeah. We're gonna get there.
We'll get a new
But-
hours.
yeah.
Right.
when it's dawn tomorrow, we'll get to it. But yeah, I mean, my theory is that it's definitely going to end the Laurie Strode storyline. I mean, no surprise there.
Right.
I think Allison will continue on.
Okay.
And we'll have to see what happens with Corey. I mean, again, I always thought this, once everything is said and done with a trilogy, it could go along in a way that you don't expect it with how it wraps up. And my suspicion is that this is Allison's trilogy. This is more about that character, and the more
Okay.
we see that evolution, because she's the one that will eventually lose everybody and be that final girl. So it's the passing of the torch, and I think that with Corey, I think fighting back with Corey, that's her Michael. So
Wow. Good stuff, man. I love it. Good ideas. And
hopefully,
I mean, yeah, I think it makes sense. And also, real quick, before we go to Bob, Carrie Crave Cinema has been a member for 8 months.
she has
It's 8-month milestone. So she says, hi, I can't put it on the screen, but I see it in YouTube. It says, hey, apparently I have a milestone. Yes, you do. 8 months. It says, love the Craven cult for life. Get it up. Yay.
Cool.
It's so awesome. Thank you, Carrie, for your, again, loyal support. So awesome.
She's a hoot.
She is a
She's
hoot.
great.
Speaking of Carrie, she's heading to bed. All right, Carrie. You had the morning shift and stuff. I know you got to get to sleep. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. We'll catch you on the next one. Wednesday morning? Yeah, Wednesday morning I'm coming back after tonight. All right, Bob, tell me now, what are your thoughts on ends? What are some theories you have? How do you feel about the copycat Corey situation? And what are your thoughts on Michael and Lori in this movie?
Okay, well, I've been giving the Corey Cunningham being a copycat a lot of thought on that. I kind of have to agree with Brett on this one. I think it should be a pivotal role because we all know Lori's and is Michael, and we most likely are going to carry on with a new character, and it's got to be Allison. I mean, Jamie Lee is pretty much coming up to that end point now. This is pretty much going to be her last Halloween unless something tragic was to change and he just brought back for a small role later down the road as a cameo. But I think Allison's your future now, and you kind of have to roll with that. Why not kind of have Corey kind of be that gaslight to leading Michael back, and it sets her up to being that final girl. And I think it would actually benefit her in the long haul while we've had some character development, I think this film has to be to really work out for Allison, for her to be that next milestone, because some people just aren't buying that this is more Allison central, because of they say she really wasn't utilized in the first two films. And going back and watching it, I can see where they're coming from, but I have to disagree with them. I think that it's set up perfect for her to be a final girl in this trilogy, because when you think about, yeah, she's not front and center like Jamie was in 4 and 5, but this one did it so slowly that it's like she's losing everyone. She has to lose Laurie, and that goes into the whole Michael and Laurie. I think Laurie is going to die at the very end, and Michael's going to be up in the air. And I think we're going to have a nice send-off. I think it's going to be one heck of a final battle. I think it's going to be over 30 minutes worth of a final battle to send
Wow.
off into the sunset. Because she's been through hell and back. Excuse language, but
Yeah.
she's been through a lot, and she's a survivor. She will fight until her last breath. We're not going to get what we saw in Resurrection, was like 5 minutes and poof, you dead. She's going to get that final battle in there.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
Man, if we got a 30-minute final battle, dude, that would be nuts. I would love that. Oh my gosh, good stuff, man. All right, Eric, how about you, man? What are your thoughts on the end as far as the copycat and Corey and all that?
So on the copycat, I'm not certain. I'm not certain about a copycat. Like, I've seen the images and everything that people are pointing to, saying like, "Oh, well, that doesn't look like, the Michael mask and everything." And I don't know. I don't see it. Like, and from everything officially put out that I've seen, there's nothing really indicating that there's going to be a copycat. There's definitely stuff saying that there's going to be like an unexpected murder or death, but that doesn't necessarily mean copycat. I think the assumption is that, because of these images and everything, that they're like, people are putting it together that there's going to be one. And there could be. I could be completely off base, but as of right now, like, I don't have a confirmation, in my opinion, that there's going to be a copycat at all. So yeah. And with Corey, I feel like it's a great opportunity to do a huge misdirect, because I think the way they put out the information, like the synopsis, it almost feels like they're pointing too hard at him being a killer, or him being, why can't I think of the word, antagonist?
Oh yeah.
Like, it feels like they're pointing too hard at it, and I'm like, why would they do that? Like, why are they going to automatically say, this is the bad guy, look at him now, unless they want something else to be going on behind the scenes? So I don't know. I'm going in it with a different lens, but in terms of Laurie, I don't want her to die. Here's the thing: if I keep hearing this term like passing of the torch. It's not, in my opinion, it's not a passing of the torch if someone dies. Like, you can't pass the torch if you die. Like, that's not how you transfer. It's not how you do it. Like, passing of the torch, Scream 5. Sydney, it's very obvious that Sydney is no longer the final girl of Scream. But she lived. And she, like, literally, like, gave her advice. Like, you're going to be good. You're going to be fine eventually.
Right. Eventually, yeah.
And like, that's a passing of the torch to me. Like if Laurie gets slaughtered, she's no longer a final girl.
No.
She's not. She didn't survive.
Yeah.
That's right.
And she didn't pass the torch. It's just that obligation moves on to someone else.
Yeah.
And while I do think it is definitely Allison like centric, everyone that Allison's lost is also, I mean, kind of affected Laurie. Like, Allison's mom and dad have died. Laurie's daughter and son-in-law died. So, I mean, and everyone that Allison's lost so far, I mean, if you consider what Laurie's lost now and in the past, is as well as 40 years of her life, like Laurie is still lost significantly more. So if they do continue to make her, the final girl, and there is an actual passing of the torch where Laurie's alive but gets out, then I'll say Allison's the new final girl. But as of now, in my opinion, it's still Laurie.
Yeah.
Could I add 2 things to that really fast?
Sure.
I really love how. So I always ask permission. I'm trying to be polite. I love everything you just said. Now, when I think I said passing of the torch, and what I meant by that is that I'm talking franchise, not necessarily character to character, but that franchise of a passing of the torch. That this was focused on Laurie for this trilogy, and if there is another trilogy or other films, it could be Allison. And that's what I meant by as far as passing that, as far as franchise goes. But the thing too, I think what we'll see in this with ends is the through line is Allison. Yes, everything's happened with Laurie, and yes, there's a lot with her story, and she is a character, and she is right up there. But Allison has been the one that when Laurie hasn't been talking to her daughter, Allison's the one that's been weaving, stringing those lines. And she brings the boyfriend in that connects with his dad and her dad and Allison's dad and just all these different people. And she also has now learned from her really stupid mistakes and kills of how to, I think that's going to be her character growth in ends, to kind of learn how to take care of herself now, hopefully. And then when evil does come to her finally, and it kind of becomes that climax for her character throughout the 3 films, that's where I think this is such an Allison trilogy versus a Laurie Strode, because they really stripped Laurie of a lot of her characters, saying they're not brother and sister anymore. Also, stupidly, sorry, I don't like kills, and people know that, but stupidly taking it away that Michael was not wanting to ever come after Laurie. Laurie's just some random person now. Any type of drive doesn't really exist. And so I'd like to also see how they're going to do that with ends, because I guess Michael's coming back because she blew off his fingers. What I'm saying? I don't know what the motivation or the connection is there. So I felt like they took a lot away from Laurie and gave a lot more to Allison as far as the through lines through these 3 films. So
Yeah, absolutely. And one criticism I heard about kills that didn't really hit me the same until I really started considering what we're about to go into with ends, is that all of kills was setting up this main fight between Laurie and Michael. That's all kills was, is setting up this fight. But at the same time, it establishes they don't even really care about each other.
Nope.
There's nothing pulling them toward each other.
Right. Other than Laurie going after Michael, but yeah.
Yeah, but Michael being this unstoppable force, growing more than just a man, doesn't care about Laurie. So it's setting up this huge fight where one of the parties has really no drive to even be in it. So that's a big criticism.
They made Laurie out to really be the lunatic that she was trying to prove she wasn't in 18.
Yeah,
that's the big reason I don't like kills, is that they took away that woman empowerment that they found even outside of it with marketing and everything else. And that's why I think that movie did super well, because it was she's back, she's Linda Hamilton, Terminator 2, let's go. And then kills is just oh, by the way, you really are just a lunatic, you're paranoid for no reason, you didn't have to be ready, because the only reason that anything even happens is because this one doctor wanted to see what would happen if you two were put back together. It's just flimsy,
right?
So
yeah, but if you stop to think about it, it doesn't take that away, though, because really, it was just circumstance in 78. What if anyone else dropped off those keys at Meyer's house? He could have gone after them that night, because really, he didn't take notice of her until he went and dropped the keys off.
Yeah, but really, 18, he's not coming to get her. He only shows up at Laurie's place because of the doctor.
That's the point. She's lived with trauma, so in her mind, yes, she's crazy, but from our standpoint, she's not, because she experienced this evil. She wants it to stop before it goes after someone else. It didn't take her drive away. It actually motivated her even more when you stop to think about it. Because now she has a family. She has a daughter. She has a granddaughter. it's not
Well, I
just
mean,
her
yeah.
anymore.
Well,
So
her
she's
drive,
going
from
through
what I
that.
got in 18, was never to protect other people. It was that she knew Michael was coming
It's coming for
for
her.
her.
Yep.
And that's why she built a bunker. Like, that's why she built all this stuff at her house, was because she was thinking he was coming from
Yeah.
her. And even in Halloween Kills, Karen was saying, you know, Michael's gonna come here. He's gonna come for your grandmother. All this, like, she was
Yeah.
saying that in the hospital. When now we know, with the new storyline they're going with, that's not the case. Like, Michael has zero interest in Lori,
Right.
other than Lori inserting herself into his life.
So I
Yes,
wonder
but
now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But you got to stop to think about, because now with her family, now it's not just her anymore. Yeah, she might not have wanted to protect anyone else but herself, but now her family's kind of been interjected by living in Haddonfield. Pure evil doesn't need a cause. See, evil will carry on even if, like, Michael could ignore every single person, but he's going to kill those who are literally either in that house in the way. So that evil's going to terrify someone. Her mind going through that is going to see, especially with her granddaughter in ends, that this needs to stop. It's not going to be just my family. Other people are going to be in terror, because it seems like they're setting her up to kind of become more mentally stable in this, while Allison's kind of more on the, like, oh, he's coming back, and Lori's going to think he's gone, and it's just Alice have that same kind of fight left, because now it's more around her than Lori. But unfortunately, family ties and evil carries on through family
Yeah.
ties.
Right. Well, I
And
hear what you're saying. I get your point with that. But what I'm trying to say is that it butchers her character though, and it just makes her look again like just like she's just so paranoid. I mean, she's saying lines like, you know, I've waited for him, he's waited for me, or whatever. You know, that type of dialogue. So it's like I'm just talking
yeah, but
maybe more of just narratively versus you're talking character, but I'm talking more narratively. It's just like
okay, narratively,
there's no one pulling this train at this
okay, if
point.
we're
Now
gonna
it's
do
just
that
random
narratively,
stuff that's
what
happening.
goes through? All right, if we're gonna go narratively, what goes through a psychopath's mind?
What?
Nothing. He's not going to be fixated on one target. He's
Okay.
just going to go after someone for no reason.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
That's
But
right,
that's the
because
thing though. But it takes. I think that actually
yes,
isn't.
but real evil doesn't need to chase one person. If you go after just one person all the time, it does get very repetitive. We're just be continuing really what 4, 5, and 6 had done.
Mhm.
We're going to just continue a family line. At that point, you have to pretty much have Michael come back. You couldn't
Yeah.
end a trilogy with Halloween Ends. It's got to end Lori or Michael. You can't carry on that way. And we can't sit here and say how someone would go after having one night of terror like that, losing her friend. It's easy to snap. That's why I know a lot of people hate Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and that, but when you look at how Lori would be coping in that, it actually kind of hits realism, because that's another way someone can cope,
Not Jordy.
like taking all the drugs.
Right. And
So
totally. So what you're doing is you're explaining how David Gordon Green is doing this trilogy. So that's great. And you're explaining it from what their take on it. What I'm saying is that I think not making them brother and sister, not having that actually be a focus, takes away the drive of the film. There's no engine to this thing. It's just kind of going where it's going to go. Michael's now a rabid dog, and he's going to attack anybody. He has no beef with anyone in particular. And I just don't find that as interesting. And that's just my opinion. I just don't find that as interesting
well,
as.
Wouldn't he have been a rabid dog in 7, 8 though? Because that was before we had a family timeline. So he'd be a rabid dog at that point.
Right, and that's why they took out 2, because that's when they actually connected, and you know that was still part of the Carpenter thing.
One would be canonically where they were brother and sister with the TV deleted scenes, because they do reference it in the original.
True.
With what I think here's a big point, and I think me and Brett are agreeing on this with the whole drive thing. With the way it's currently set up, with Michael having no drive toward either Allison or Lori and Allison could pack up and leave the state, and nothing would happen to them. Michael wouldn't go looking for them. They could have a happily ever after. Like, they could be fine.
Yeah. So
The
it's gonna be
only way they're
interesting.
going to be, yeah, the only way they're going to be in jeopardy is if they put themselves there.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting why Michael decides to come after him. And maybe that's where Corey really does play the part. They need that line through to have Michael coming back for Lori. And again, and
I
I'm
don't
also
think you're coming for him.
I agree, and that's my whole thing though. Is Bob, when I talk about these things, I'm not just I'm that guy. I talk about marketing. I'm thinking about everything because it's like their saga ends. It's like, well, their saga never really began then. If most of it was just misunderstanding and things like, you know what I'm saying. So that's where I kind of feel like these movies is the last one, and hopefully not this one, but could be. This is why these are disappointing, because it's like I kind of would rather see the brother sister thing and have those stakes than just, oh, here's a chick and she randomly got attacked and she's had trauma, and that's great. Not great, but it's a great thing for character to go through and for us, for her to sort through and grow from. But now it's just like this random stuff, and I don't know, it just doesn't. It just kind of is like, meh, okay.
Well, I'm
Like,
going to throw something up here. I'm going to
thing.
interject for a second. So Val made a good point that I thought is really good. She's like, the Shape started off having no interest in Lori, but now he does. Not only Lori, but Allison too. They tried to stop him from going home. They trapped him and tried to set him on fire. So now you could say, like, okay, I'm going to go get these people for trapping me in their house, tried to burn me alive. So
good.
That actually could give Michael. I could see where that would give Michael some motivation to want to finish them off for what happened. I think that's a valid point.
No, I like it. It's a valid point.
It's a valid point.
I don't know though, because like we started off kills with him getting out of the fire. He never once made a move toward the hospital where Lori was.
Yeah.
Like
right.
he the only person he killed, the only people he killed, and Lonnie even said it, was a straight line toward his old house.
Right.
Anyone who got in his way. He killed Karen, but that's because Karen was in his house. He killed Big John and Little John. They were in his house. If Karen hadn't been there, she wouldn't have died. Like, there was nothing in kills that indicated to me that Michael was interested in the least bit in Lori or the Strode family at all.
Yeah.
I love Brandon's comment. I feel like Michael's tired of the Strodes. That's why he has the knitting needle towards her.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
He is coming after her with that knitting needle, dude. That's right.
He's a little drama queen. He just can't let things go.
I don't think Michael's going after them in this movie. I think something's going to happen. They're going to be off and fine years later. Something's going to happen in Haddonfield or wherever. They're going to think it's Michael. They're going to go back and interject theirself. I don't think Michael's coming to search for Lori or Allison. I do believe that if he does, it's going to be completely going against everything they established in Kills.
Right.
Because they literally said in Kills, he doesn't care about Lori. He just wants to go home. So if they do go ahead and change up, and now all of a sudden he's a predator stalking people again, they're just going against what they established in the previous movie, and that's bad writing.
Yep.
I could disagree, because he would have beef with Allison, because she was still there even though Karen was getting killed. Remember, she was right outside that porch being attended by the medical people. It's possible he's not going to forgive her for being in the house. It actually, you have a call right there. Now, I'll agree, for Lori to be involved in that sense wouldn't make any logical sense, because not once was he going. Lori didn't even step foot after that whole movie. She was pretty much hospital ridden until the very end. And the extended cut we see.
Yeah, a little phone call.
Sorry, spoiler for anybody, but pretty much walking out of the hospital with a purpose. So, Allison's the only one I could see if we're going to have Michael go after anyone being in the house. Lori would have to interject herself in this.
Well, I think Michael would maybe go after Allison while she's still there, because as we left it, and that's another thing I'm wondering how they're going to rectify. As we left the movie, Michael was still in the house, surrounded by police and paramedics, with a dead body. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to give some explanation as to
Yeah.
what happened immediately after that.
Mhm.
They're gonna have to burn down the house because why did he vanish for 4 years or 3 years? If he doesn't have a home, why does he become homeless?
Yeah. Well,
Or if
there's
he has a
so
home, why?
there's a little. I have a little information that could shed a lot of light on all this. If you want to hear it, I'm actually doing a video. Literally, I'm about a quarter of the way done, so I still got a ways to go.
Mhm.
It's coming out tomorrow. I'll finish it tomorrow, but it's my newest. After watching all these clips and seeing this interview with David Gordon Green, it all is kind of coming together a little bit. And so I talked about it on the Lethal Collective this afternoon, and basically, so and answer some of the questions Eric had earlier too. So here, the situation is, according to David Gordon Green, he says that Myers has gone dormant for years, this 4-year period. He basically is in very bad physical shape. He is jacked up basically from 2018, the mob attack, all that stuff that happened to him. So David Gordon Green is explaining that Michael has gone dormant. He's in bad shape, and a lot like his mask that's rotting. The Michael is essentially waiting to die, out in hiding. He's out in the sewers or wherever and hiding, waiting to die. The only reason that Michael Myers comes back to Haddonfield is because of a copycat killer who is killing as Michael Myers, and that draws out of hiding. This is David Gordon Green confirming this, the writer. So,
Okay.
so there is a copycat killer. What's going to happen? Michael is going to come out of retirement, essentially, and that's why he still looks so messed up. The mask is all rotten out. It's getting moldy. His hand looks like it's got gangrene almost. It looks so nasty.
That's
and
what will
infected.
finally take him out.
I'm telling you, man, it looks gross. Seriously. So basically, and this is what my whole video is about. It's like just kind of shedding light on this. So he's going to come out of hiding to pursue this copycat. Now, here's what we know about Corey. This is all stuff that's come out. I'm not spoiling Reddit or anything. This is out information. We know that Corey and Allison are love interests. They're boyfriend, girlfriend. We see them kissing. They are together at this point.
Yeah.
And so if Corey is indeed the copycat, then it makes sense why Michael Myers is interjected back into Allison and Laurie Strode's life, because Corey is Allison's boyfriend. So all the Shape has to do is return and pursuing Corey, the copycat, and then he sees him at Allison's house. We have footage of Corey with Laurie Strode, with Allison. So now Michael knows where Laurie and Allison are at because of his pursuit of Corey. He wasn't pursuing Laurie. It was pursuing the copycat. So inadvertently, he's going to find out that they're all together. And so this is how Michael is reintroduced into Laurie's life. She's not expecting it because she thinks that he's gone. All of her focus, this is from Jamie Lee's own mouth, all of her focus is on this other person, which is the copycat. I think Corey. I don't think she trusts Corey. And that's why you see that clip where she's at the radio station. She's parked outside in her car, and she's looking, and there's Corey and Allison, and she's watching them. It's like she's following them. Because I don't think she trusts Corey because of his background being accused of killing the kid. And so this is how Michael's reintroduced. It's not because he's after Laurie, per se. It's because he wants to put an end to the copycat killer who's dressing up like him. Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Why?
I was thinking the same
Why
thing.
would okay, for other killers, like if you got a ghost face or something like that, where it's an active thinking being, I can understand wanting to stop a copycat, ruining a reputation, something like that. Why would Michael Myers, this being who clearly doesn't care about anything, which they've established, there's nothing behind his eyes, he just wanted to go home, why would he care about someone else dressing up like him?
I don't know.
Like, why does that story?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's a flimsy way. That's a Sartain level of flimsiness and trying to push a story along, in my opinion. Like, why would he care? Can anyone actually give a reason why Michael Myers, as they've portrayed him now, care about someone else dressing up like him and possibly killing people?
Well, remember the end of season 2 of the TV series of Scream? Whenever Kyrian is killed, do you remember this? And he gets a phone call before he dies.
I heard you were wearing my mask or something.
He said, "I never said you could wear my mask."
But I did just specify if it was like a ghost face or something, it would make sense because they care about reputation. They care about their plan. They have motives and stuff that they can't have muddled up. From what we've established about Michael in this new trilogy, he doesn't have any of that. Like, why would he care?
I have an idea, but I think it's dumb.
Yeah.
Is that that could be that Corey does take the mask and Michael wants the mask back. Because
that I would buy.
See, that's how it's been through from 18. Yeah, from 18 on, it's always been about the mask, and Karen takes it, so he goes after her. And so they've already established he has this thing with the mask. So if somebody went out and started killing people with his mask on, I can see him not really necessarily caring that he's killing people, but that he just wants his mask back. So that could be possible. I don't know why you put a cruddy old mask on. You have to be quite.
Yeah, I don't see.
Maybe that could be a lot of fun though. If Corey really is or whoever it is this really just kind of psychotic, crazy person that would want that mask to.
Yeah, I mean that does go a little bit against the footage and stuff because I think I saw, I believe, it was one of your videos, Steven, where you pointed out like the stills, how you think it's the copycat because the mask doesn't look as
right.
So if
too clean.
So if that's the case, then it wouldn't be the copycat wearing his mask. And even so, anytime that mask has come off, other than when it was in like the police impound and he was locked up, it doesn't stretch out that much time. Like he gets it back, or he gets destroyed, or both. So like I don't see that stretching into a full length movie. Like I don't see Corey taking that mask and then getting too far away with it and lasting a while.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that's interesting, guys, because when Gordon Green was talking about how he's in really bad shape, he's in a weakened condition, which is another reason why this footage we see of Michael and Laurie in the kitchen, we've seen all the stuff fighting.
Yeah.
There are trailer spots where she wins the battle. She kills this person. She unmasked the person. There's one of the TV spots. She is grabbing his mask and taking it off from the neck up, and you see the chin and the nose, and then but you can't see who it is. They cut. I've slowed it down. I've framed it out. You can't. It's too blurry. But here's the thing. We know this. Whoever is in that kitchen fight, and I do believe it's Michael Myers now. I've changed my position based on this interview. So I believe that is Michael, and that she does kill Michael Myers in the kitchen fight. She stabs him through the heart with both hands on the knife handle, and then she unmasks him. And when she takes that mask off, we're going to see, I believe, James Jude Courtney. It's going to be Michael Myers. And then remember that scene in the trailer where the mask is laying on a table or on the floor, and it looks like there's a body out of focus to the right of the mask, and someone comes with a hand, grabs that mask off the table. What I think happens, now I'm just connecting dots. She's going to kill Michael. She unmasks him. We know that she takes it off. She sets it down, And that's when Hawkins comes running up with the cops. Everyone's outside. She goes outside. Her hands are both covered in blood all the way up to her forearms. So it's from the fight. She walks out there in distraught. She's distraught. You've got Lindsay's there. Hawkins and Allison are all there. So they're all alive. It's not their blood. They're not hurt. Corey's missing. And there's no Michael, of course. I think she just killed Michael. And Corey has come into that house, perhaps through the back door. He's the one that walks over and he picks up Michael's mask. That's the hand we see grabbing the mask off a table inside a home. And he has Michael's mask because there are scenes where it's like, how did Corey get Michael's mask? How is this possible? And it makes total sense now. Because if Michael's in a weakened condition, people say, well, how could Laurie kill Michael when they couldn't kill him in 18? David Gordon Green has already said he's hurt bad. He's damaged. He's in bad shape. So now he's not 100%. So now Laurie kills him. He's too weak to survive this time. She takes the mask off. She goes outside. She's freaking out. Everyone's there. Cops are talking to her. Hawkins is coming. And Corey comes in and he sees the dead Myers. He sees the mask and he grabs it off the table, which is the shot in the trailer, and he leaves and goes back. And he's going to be the one now that comes in later. So Michael Myers dies at the middle point of the movie or the third quarter point of the movie.
I'm going to jump in for you.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this is what I want. I'm telling you though. I think that I'm just connecting dots. That mask is picked up. That's Myers' mask. So that means he's dead. It's off of his body. And so I'm telling you, I think Myers dies at the hands of Laurie. I think it's pretty kind of clear now, honestly. And now, and Corey has his mask. Now, what happens after that, I don't know. But I believe at that point, whoever the copycat killer is going to die after Myers.
All right.
There it is.
Before you,
I basically told you my whole video for tomorrow.
I'm still going to watch it anyway. It doesn't matter.
So, I'm still watching.
But anyway, let me jump in here really fast. So here's the thing you're saying is that David Gordon Green has said that he's weakened. He's gone off to die. So he probably wasn't going to put up a fight. I think that Corey is obsessed with him. And is trying to find him and finds him in that sewer. And that's where we get that scene. And I think that Michael is in such a weakened state that Corey takes his mask at that point. And that is what reinvigorates Michael. And now Michael is, and if Corey goes off and kills as Michael wants the mask, but he's also the hunter, or I guess the killer is now stalking the killer. And I think that if they did that, what a really unique, fun idea. Different in Halloween than it would have been. And then I think Corey goes to kill Laurie, and then she kills him, and that's when Michael shows up and reclaims the mask, and then you have your showdown. Something like that would make a little more, not more sense of what you're saying, but more sense of like, in general, I guess. But I haven't seen a lot of the footage you have or the insight, so I don't know.
I honestly, I think it would behoove Michael to just not put the mask back on, because as we clearly saw in Kills, apparently no one knows what he actually looks like. So he could probably just stroll into Haddonfield and have a beer before he went to hunt Corey down.
His mugshot was all over the TV in Kills. With believe me, that's one of my biggest things. Like, they confused this like 6'5" man with this short little. It was, and the only reason Michael didn't die in Halloween Kills, as we all know, was this thing called plot armor. Apparently, even with a gun and several knives, these people don't know how to kill someone.
Oh, the iron!
And
don't forget the iron, man.
Can't forget iron.
Don't forget the hockey stick.
That's right, and the hockey stick.
But I don't know. I don't think. Here's what I was thinking you were going with, because Laurie does have all this trauma, and Brett pointed out, kind of in Halloween Kills, they set her up to be this crazy lady that she was trying to prove she wasn't. What if the exact situation you thought was true, or you just said happened, up until the point where she walks outside. She walks outside. We saw that it was Michael. She knows it was Michael, and she thinks it's done. The cops go in. It wasn't Michael. It was Corey. But she was just under so much, like, she's dealing with so much. And then that hand you saw grab the mask was Michael.
Was Myers. Ooh.
Yeah.
Now that's fun.
We should get together and write a movie.
Yeah, we should. I like this.
I got
table.
a script. I got a script I'll send to you, Brett. I've been working on it for like 2 years.
It's great.
It'll be
held in confidence.
And the only reason I don't want it to be the way you just said, Steven, and there's just one reason. It would be that would be a cool twist.
Mm-hmm.
But that would mean, as everyone, like 90% of people think Lori's going to die, that would mean Corey takes out her.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That'd
Michael.
be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So she takes out Michael Myers, but Corey, I don't even know. Like,
Allison takes out Corey.
Or Allison kills Corey, and they both live.
Okay, yeah, but that's it.
That's into the sunset.
That's if you think Lori's going to live, but do you think she's going to make it out of this one?
You know, I'm telling you, so I'm going to say this. I was really certain, I felt certain anyway, that she was going to die for a long time. I've started to get closer to 50-50. I think she could live now more than I ever have, because I think it's some of the images, some of the things that I've seen. I'm just really thinking that she might live. Yeah.
You know what I think would be really emotional, and I just thought of this for some reason, is if in whatever final battle there is, Lori is injured so significantly that she's put into like a medically induced coma, and Allison, and since she's the last of the family, gets to decide if to pull the plug or not. And if she does die, that it's not done necessarily directly from Michael Myers, but it's done in a more respectful send-off kind of way with Lori and stuff. I know, it kind of brings it down, but it's just...
And then we realize, just like Knight says, everything's been a dream. It's been a dream while Lori's been in a coma.
They say cut, and then Buster Rhymes and Tara walk out, and this has been a movie within a movie. Movie within a movie.
When are we shooting my spot? Buster Rhymes.
Where's my turn? I can't do his impression.
It's part 2 of the Dangertainment.
That's right.
Set up in a hospital.
Just
for Jake.
Follow our YouTube channel, whatever it is.
Here's the thing: if Lori dies, but Buster Rhymes got to survive a Halloween movie, I'm done. Done with this series.
He didn't. He died in the franchise. That's what happened.
hey, canonically, he's still alive.
I'm just saying the franchise died because of him. So that was his.
Yeah.
He killed the movie,
true, but he killed the movie, but he survived. That's all I'm saying.
It's like how George Clooney takes credit for killing Batman. So it's kind of like that.
Oh
idea.
gosh.
How about Scream? How about Scream, everyone?
Yeah, that was
Bob
what I
to
was saying.
say.
Yeah, Bob. Any closing thoughts on the Halloween on this discussion, man?
No, other than I have to agree with them. We can't have Michael dying midway through it. If we want to have that amazing battle, Corey has to be the one that dies midway through. It can't be vice versa. Because if we're going to have that final battle, that's how you send Lori off. You can't have her die. Now, yeah, okay, Allison killing Corey, but when you stop to think about it, that only sets up a little bit for Allison to be the final girl. It doesn't really send Lori fully off. Like, yeah, she had an amazing battle, but did she really stand tall at the end? It was more Allison. Everybody wants Lori standing tall. So you want Lori to be that last final kill. If she's going to kill Michael, it can't.
Oh, I have one too.
Allison doing it, because this is Jamie Lee Curtis's last film.
Yeah,
this is the last one.
Send her off right. You don't want to pull a resurrection and have someone else kind of be standing last. You want your true hero standing.
Yep.
Oh, Eric.
Just a little comment on that, and this is why I think it's still Jamie Lee Curtis's. It's still Lori's. It's not Allison's. If I compare the two in kills, Allison Like when she gets pushed down a thing, like she hurts a leg. Obviously terrible. She kind of stays on the ground the rest of the movie. Lori got messed up by Michael, thrown off the balcony.
Yep.
What did she do? She was jumping out of that hospital bed. She was injecting herself with like adrenaline. She's like, we're going to do this right now. It was like a mirror opposite. And that's why I think this still belongs to Lori. Like Allison isn't ready. And now she's not dealing. I don't think realistically she would have gotten to the point where she started building from it. I think she's probably even still 4 years later dealing with the loss of her mom and her dad, and not in a making herself stronger way. We see that she's clearly turning to what appears to be alcohol, maybe drugs.
I haven't seen.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know.
I was going to say, what if that's the way she processes those things? Is meditation, is self-defense, is building a strong core, that type of thing. But I didn't see the alcohol stuff. I don't know.
Well, I think Eric's got a point, because if Lori's not the one that takes out Michael, if Michael gets taken out, that's no guarantee. But if he does die, and it looks like he's going to, based on these last images, it has to be Lori. If they they would be stealing that from us as fans. And David Gordon Green has to know that. He's a fan. He respects the franchise and John Carpenter. So I have to believe that maybe, and I hear Allison killing Corey could be satisfactory. Right. That would be okay in my book.
And to actually add to what your video is going to be as well for tomorrow, here's another theme that was in Kills, is that evil transcends. It's not just one person.
Right.
We saw how Michael Myers, even the idea of him, created a mob, created anger and fear, and that became evil and whatnot. So if he could do that within just Corey, and everything happens the way you said, Craven, and Corey takes on the mantle, that's just, their saga ends. But this is where they can say this is going to piss a lot of people off, where it actually, he does die halfway through, but Michael isn't the end of evil. And that he's not just the only one. And so it's already a theme that they've already started. It's the only reason I jumped on that, because they've already they've already done it. So I'm sure they'll continue those themes on. And there's reasons, as you said before, and then I'll leave it alone, where you say that, David Gordon Green has planted so much in the other two films, or even like 18 that led into things in Kills, and then the radio tower can be seen in previous installments and stuff that's going to lead into. So if he's known for doing that, so it's not a far leap to think that could be a really big possibility of Corey being the next one.
What if the copycat is actually Busta Rhymes?
Oh no!
He already has a mask.
He already has the suit. We know he does.
He does. He just had it dry clean.
Hey, all I'm saying is Jamie Lee Curtis said this would piss some people off.
He did. She says it makes her feel very, very angry. Yeah.
So if that copycat pulls the mask off and it's Busta from Dangertainment,
it's gonna be Jamie Lloyd being like, "Why did you abandon me?"
Oh, hey, just want to say hi to Marcus, our good buddy Marcus. I shot him 6 times.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
I shot him 6 times. Shot him in the heart.
Shot him in the heart. He's not human. All right, so guys. That was a fun Halloween Ends discussion. I really enjoyed that. You guys were great. I love it. It was great. So I think let's now shift gears, because I know a lot of you guys have been hanging out, waiting for some Scream talk. I know you guys. I've seen Jennifer. She's getting excited. She's ready for Scream talk.
We need some stew train, bro.
And I was gonna say we need something real quick. Eric, what you got, buddy? Before we do that.
Oh no, this is Scream talk, and I kind of mentioned it to you in a chat a while ago, but there's something I've wanted to talk about with people ever since that last interview with Melissa.
Yeah,
that's been like, once we actually, if you want to, let's do some stew train stuff, because this is gonna get like deep in the discussion.
I love it. Yeah, man. Let's do it. So let's get started now. We're going to shift away from Halloween. Now, if you have Halloween questions from this point forward, feel free to send them in a super chat. we will come back to them. Otherwise, we're now shifting gears to how I Scream 6, my friends. And so let's get, you know what? Let's have Matthew Lillard get us hyped and get us ready for the transition. Get it up.
How would you envision Stu returning to Scream 5?
Scarred. Well, he's not in 5, I'll tell you that. But whenever he comes back somewhere in the future, because that's what happens in horror movies all the time, they bring the killers back. He's scarred, but yet handsome with great abs.
He feels he didn't die.
I didn't, dude. I will throw a TV on my face right now to prove it. On TV, I will be like, here's the deal. This 2-ton TV, I'm going to throw on my face. And if I die, then I will let this moment go.
Getting the TVs now, you wouldn't die, but the TVs back then, you definitely would.
I would not die. I would not die. They had to add those sparks. Those sparks aren't real.
So I would like to argue on behalf of the stupids out there that he is still alive.
Oh, yeah.
Killer good time.
I love it. Pumps me up every time.
Me too, man. I just, gosh, so awesome. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about. We have, oh man, Screams. There is so much. Eric, you know what? Why don't you start us off because you had a topic you wanted to touch on. So let's get started there.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we all know, New York, and Melissa brought up in an interview like the horrifying new aspects of it being in like New York and stuff like that. And immediately my head, and I want to know how you guys feel about this. My head went to Casey, very first, opening scene. Obviously we know her boyfriend was killed before her, but like when you think of the first kill, she's the one you actually think of.
Yes.
And like that moment when she sees her parents and she's crawling for them, like trying to get their attention because that's savior, but she can't get their attention. Like they don't notice her, and like the defeat is there. Like, and that's when she goes. I was thinking about the whole New York thing, and it'll be like how much more defeating it's going to be because I'm imagining what's going to happen is someone is going to be getting attacked by Ghostface. Someone else, some random passerby, is going to see it, but not help. And just walk away. And I was thinking, like, that is so much more horrifying to me because, like, Casey, she knows all she's got to do is, like, get their attention and they're going to save her. Like, she knows that's what's going to happen, but she fails to get their attention. Whereas, so she, like, in her head, she's not alone. She just got to get to someone. Whereas that situation in New York, if like you're being attacked and people see you and just ignore you, in your head, like, you got to know I'm all on my own and I'm going to die.
In a densely populated area.
Terrible. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
People all around
And
you.
like, but I was thinking
for
like
real.
that
That's
makes
cool.
it so much more horrifying because like you could be helped, but you have to go through like some sort of mental defeat at that moment because nobody's going to help you. I just want to, I was just thinking about that and like how much more horrifying it makes it to me, like in contrast to the Casey Becker.
Kind of reminds me of like the Sarah Michelle Gellar and I Know You Did Last Summer when the parade's going, and she's just that's. But I like your idea where they actually notice it and still do nothing. So,
well, and that's kind of what Melissa teased is going to happen in that interview, like because she mentions that, like,
pretty much just said it.
She pretty much said it, yeah. Like, oh, we're going to see this happen. It makes you wonder who is the victim, You know, is it one of these new people, or is it one of our, returning characters? We don't know who it is, but somebody's dying, and you're gonna, and like Eric said, you're gonna see people rather not help out and get involved and just walk the other way and go home and go about their business. And to be that uncaring and calloused and unfeeling towards another human being is just, I know it may be scary, but dude, if you see someone laying on the sidewalk bleeding out everywhere, do something. I mean, look, I'm not a paramedic, but I know how to call 911. I know, you know what I'm saying? I know how to at least maybe try to tourniquet something, pressure, what,
Right.
I don't know. But anyway, it is a horrible thought. It is terrifying. Being the victim, laying there, seeing people's feet or legs walking by you, it's got to be, would be mortifying, right? Just like,
plus it's Halloween, right? So people might even just think it's a prank.
That's true too.
Or
They
it's
could think
whatever.
it's a
What
joke.
if they go kind of like the Scream 2, the season 2 opening, where it's more like because it's other people just think it's a prank.
Ah, crap. That's gonna happen now.
It won't be a prank.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's what I was thinking right when we said it, was like the opening in the theater with Jada, like how everyone's like, oh, it's just a prank. Like she gets murdered in like an open theater, and what killed me was that one image, and I think we talked about it before, Stephen, was like you see it if you watch really closely. There's one guy who notices and goes to help her, but he can't get to her because all these other people are like partying and like pushing around. And I'm like, that is so demoralizing.
I never noticed that. When I'm going to see it for the Fathoms event or whatever it is, the 25th anniversary, right? They're doing a screening on like the 9th and 10th. So I have tickets for I think the 10th. But anyway, I'm gonna look for that now because I'd never noticed him. I only ever noticed the blonde chick who suddenly gets blood on her and she's like, yeah, what? But
no, if you look in the back, like back left, there's one guy who notices her, and you can see him lock on her, and like he even gets up to move toward her, but then other people start like pushing around and stuff, and he can't get there.
If they were smart, they would try to connect that into something in these newer movies. So just as a fun little Easter egg. That'd be really cool.
But
if somebody was present for a murder.
Right.
You know what I wanted? I wanted in Scream 2. Sorry, this is going way back to Scream 2 now. I wanted it to show Mickey in line. In line to see the movie, because we know that's who it was.
Yep.
But I wanted something like to show him he was in line at the movies, like some little, like just a split second. We never got it, and that would have been so easy.
Was it Mickey in the costume, or was it Debbie in the costume? Because the whole mommy thing when he's listening to the stall, and what's being mumbled.
Yeah, I thought that was a guy just making fun of like when a stranger calls, or not when a stranger calls. Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. Yeah, Black Christmas.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly an Easter egg that it's the mom of Billy. Yeah, like once you get to the end, you're like, oh, and you put that together. But yeah, I thought maybe because she's crazy.
She's very crazy.
She is crazy. I assumed it would be Mickey because he replaces.
Yeah.
Like after it's done, he replaces Omar Epps' character, like its size and stuff.
Maybe Debbie's driving the car because when we see the footage later in the theater,
that's what I assumed.
Kind of moving. But really quick, too, Craven, I have to ask you a question. With Scream 2, might as well really fast. I don't remember if we were backstage or not when we were talking to Anthony Massey and Nate Reagan and talking about Laurie Metcalf doing her interview for that, and that she was really hesitant to do the interview because she thought that she did a bad job in Scream 2.
She did. That's right.
And that's the first time I ever heard that. I was like, and so she almost didn't appear in the documentary because she's like, I don't think anyone would even want to hear from me. I thought I did horrible. I was way too hammy, way too big. And I'm like, what? Both Craven and I were both like, what? No,
right?
It was amazing. So there's a little
I loved
inside I just stole from Anthony, but I'm sure he won't mind. But
no, not at all. Not at all. In fact, Anthony, just to give you guys a heads up, I don't have a date. but Anthony Massey and Nate Reagan, who I had on a couple of weeks ago, who did the Still Screaming Scream retrospective, the documentary, and then the big Scream Comes Home event a couple years back at Stu Macher's house with Roger L. Jackson and everything. They're coming back next month to talk more behind the scenes Scream with us here on the channel. So stay tuned for that in October.
Go rewatch that first video because that's that's such a small percentage of the stories they have. It's a wealth of knowledge of what they bring. So that'll be exciting.
And speaking of wealth of knowledge, Jennifer Armstrong bringing a $2 super chat. Jennifer, thank you, my friend. And she says #StewTrain. That's what I'm talking about right there, Jennifer.
I liked your segue.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, wealth of knowledge, spitting out the facts, spitting out the knowledge of the Stew Train. And you know what, Jennifer? This one's for you, my friend.
Yeah! I'm ready, baby!
All right, everybody, get those arms ready. Here we go. Let's do it.
Get up! Get up!
Everybody do that stew dance at home with us.
Get up! Get up!
Gotta get it up.
It was fun.
My headset.
It was fun.
It was fun.
He goes like,
thank you, Jennifer.
He goes like that. That's crazy.
He really does. I mean, you got to think about it. He's trying not to get any major organs hit.
Yes. Man, I tell you, what's cracking me up, man. So I've been doing these segments. That's right, Lee. We are dancing. We are vibing.
We need more dancing.
And things like Director Production says, glad to be able to catch a live. So, well, I'm so glad you are here too. Yeah.
There's something about a live stream that it's so different to like filming a video and and putting it out there. Cause I don't know, like honestly for me, it feels odd to film a video, but a live stream feels so natural.
It's probably because all the feedback, you and I could go toe to toe. So,
and it's all different. Yeah. It's a different vibe. Yeah.
Like we go kind of combat each other with debating and that. It's different than just doing it in the comments section.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I remember one time I went against Bob on one of these, and I wrote him later. I'm like, dude, was I too much? And he's just like, no, bring it more. And so this time I'm like, no gloves, bro. No gloves.
That's a great dialogue, though.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's just it's a great exchange of ideas and perspectives, and I love that.
As long as it stays respectful.
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
Arguing about Sam and Terry. I mean, we go at it head.
Head.
Like, we throw the punches, and we'll go.
Wait, who?
Like change his subject.
Who's on whose side?
What are we talking about? I can't hear Bob too well.
Great.
Sam versus Tara.
I'm gonna restart the computer and try to come back.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No worries, buddy. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. We'll be here.
I'm having problems all.
I'm hard of hearing anyway, so that's my problem.
I'll let Bob give you the full answer, but the short version, just while we're waiting for him.
Okay.
So Bob is all for Tara being a killer, and Marcus is on the side of Sam.
I know
being the killer. And they get into some serious debates. Oh yeah, passionate debates about it. I've caught several of them. And
Tara?
Yeah. I'll let him share.
That'd be like fighting Chucky.
Oh, the sex bots are here. Hold on a second.
Oh, that's what you bring up.
Sorry, that was just so random. Oh, the sex bots are here.
I thought you were talking about my comment. I was like, Chucky isn't that sensual.
No, my first thought was like, what are you ordering off of Amazon, Steven?
Oh, no, nothing. Well, nothing close to that, let me tell you.
My sex bots just, okay.
Yeah, my sex bots have arrived. Yay. I got to go, guys. I got to shut the stream down early. Let me tell you. No, thank you, Val. By the way, Val, good night, my friend. Good night, General. Great night's rest.
It always seems when we talk about Scream, that's when they come up.
I know.
So-
and that's
All
what
the
Lee's
time.
saying
There's a lot
too.
of time. Oh
I
yeah.
know. Yeah.
I'm just thinking like,
Tara. Okay.
yeah, I'm just thinking like,
Yeah.
if they did Terra, it would be a very good subversion of
Ooh,
expectations
you're not kidding.
But how would you
because
do it?
no one's
though?
expecting it.
But how could she be a killer? She's like 5'0". Am I thinking of the right person?
Have
Yeah,
you
sure.
seen Amber?
No, I saw.
I was about to say.
I saw Stu.
Bro,
I
have
saw
you not
Stu.
seen Amber? She's like
I-
5'2".
I saw Stu kill
Oh, yes.
Dewey. That's what I saw.
Oh, now you're talking. There you
I
go.
didn't see no Tara, no costume.
I mean, I feel like David Arquette pretty much all but confirmed, all but said it was Stu that killed him
Yeah.
at that convention.
I know. That was very interesting. His comments were great, man.
By the way, I want you guys to remind me. I have an end or how Scream 6 should end. I have an idea, but I'll bring it up later when we're done.
Ooh.
All right, while we're waiting on Bob,
Bob.
I did see a comment come up.
Okay.
How many killers do you think there should be?
Oh,
In
yeah.
six.
It depends on the plot, to be real. Like it depends on how big what they're going for. You know what I'm saying? Like how massive is a killing spree, and what's the motive behind all of it?
Well, I mean,
Does that make sense?
here's the thing. Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, we're in a very interesting situation with with Scream 6 because we know there's going to be a 7.
Mhm.
We already know there's going to be a 7. But as of now, we've never had any killers, any Ghostface hold over from one movie to the next.
Mhm.
So whatever happens to Ghostface in this movie, how many ever there are, statistically, it won't affect the next movie at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we could have 5 and they could all die. So even plot wise, I don't think it really matters because we know someone's going to be left over in terms of protagonist because there's a 7.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How big's your body count? Because you can't have 5 killers. You can't have more killers than victims. You know what I'm saying? So if you have like 7 people die, but you have 5 killers, that's kind of like.
I mean,
Okay.
I think there'll be 7 to 8 deaths in this movie.
They're gonna say killers. I was like,
No, gosh, no. I think for killers, I mean, I'm with Lee. Just give me 3. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Just give me 3. Give me 2 in a mastermind, or give me 3 straight up killers.
Right.
I'd be happy. Just break the mold. Break it. Get us out of 2.
I want to.
I'm telling
stay
you.
with 2. Okay.
I'm telling you, the way to guarantee a 7th film and to make sure that, to where Paramount could know it will be a hit is to absolutely have Stu either referenced at the end or shown at the end. Like, and if you know that's another thing I've said a lot of times. If you know who one of the killers is going into the next one, that marketing's never been done before. You know, where we knew one of the killers.
Oh, you could do a
And
whole
then you
campaign without Stu returning.
Absolutely.
Like he's back.
Absolutely.
Guess who's back? And
You know what I love is it's going to make it's going to make a lot of people upset if they bring Stu back.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we know that. Here's the thing, though. They're still going to see the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
They're
yeah,
100% going to see the movie because they're going to want an explanation.
Then you have to work backwards of who does Stu know that would be working with him as a killers, so that, you know, in the 7th, and what is that? The whole thing. I just think, yeah, it absolutely needs to be starting from 5, a through plot line of what Stu's doing, and I think
That's
you're
why
guaranteed money, guaranteed.
So here's the thing: I want 2 killers, but I want one of them to die and be unmasked halfway through.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm not alone.
Because
on
then
that
you
one.
have to go backwards on the whodunit.
Exactly. And you're like, well, here's the first thing you got to think. Are they working alone? Are we still in danger or not?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's possible, because, you know, Sydney's experienced the Roman situation.
Mhm.
And as far as Sydney knows, there was only one. So she's experienced the situation. So has Gail, where there was only one killer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's highly possible that once that person goes down, you know, all the the safety precautions and everyone being on edge just completely eases up. And then it's whoever is the other Ghostface has to go on, like, they just got to think on their feet and keep going with whatever they're doing, or they got to start looking for another person to take up the mantle as that other Ghostface.
Chris is asking, what convention was it that David made those interesting comments? It was which one was that?
Monster Mania.
Yes, Monster Mania.
We were at.
Yeah.
Yeah, he specifically said he did specifically clarify his statement or his line from the movie. He didn't say Stu was.
That's right.
He said
a loony.
And like Dewey's like, I said he is a loony. So
That's right.
Now that David's out, they can't really do much about it.
Yeah, what are they gonna do to him?
Right.
He's gonna
what are they gonna do? Kill his character or something? Are they gonna disrespect his character by letting a 5'2" woman murder him?
Right.
Girl. She's a girl. She's 16.
Like 17, right? Yeah. It could be
Which
fun
made
if-
the whole
yeah.
Richie thing even worse.
creepier.
Oh,
The more
yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah, that was you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, like, according to the directors, according to Radio Silence and an interview they did, they said Richie thought he was in control, but she was really the one pulling the strings.
That sounds about right.
That's directly from them in an interview they did on YouTube.
Well, she may be the one that's more part of the Stu cult.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why at the end of my Stu script, you got Stu showing up and knocking on the door, and you see Amber answer it, and it cuts.
I just want to tell you guys. Do you want to hear how I would end 6?
6? Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, let's hear it.
I would end 6 to go into 7. I would have this whole plot going, and toward the end, we start realizing there is a mastermind. There's someone else behind the scenes that's maybe pulling the strings somehow, right? Oh my God, I don't know how you guys are going to take this. Let's see. And I'd have the very last scene be Stu, either in locked up mental facility, like, where there's still bars, there's still, or prison. I don't know where he would be. And I'd actually have him more in like an interrogation room where he's locked up because someone wants to talk to him about his potential involvement. And 2 people walk in. They're detectives. One is Mark Kincaid and one is Sydney. And she has become a detective with Mark. And that why she's absent from 6 is that she was investigating everything that was happening. And now she feels it's Stu that was doing it, and that she's known he's been alive because she's become a detective over the last 12 years. Or more since Mark Kincaid. Give her way more power.
That's a choice.
He knew it.
It's
because of Kincaid. Because of Kincaid. Take him out.
No. I'd like
Detective Prescott, man.
It's personally. This is just me, and I there's some other people.
I gotta go.
I don't think any Stu storyline works where he's been incarcerated in a mental facility. I don't think it works. Unfortunately,
if Dewey says he is a loony, that could be referring that he's in some type of mental facility.
Yeah, he's a real loony. I mean, it could. I mean, yeah. I mean, they can. I mean, they could do that, right? But I think Eric's point is, if they go that route, there's either going to have to be a huge plot hole that will never get filled. Of
what?
How do you explain no one knowing all those questions become obstacles we have to really tackle because there's a lot more validity to them when they know he's alive. Like if Dewey knows he's alive, then you have, not saying it's impossible, but I like to say it this way. You have a ton more heavy lifting to do and to try to make that work versus everyone thought he was dead.
Well, because Sydney's been attacked how many times since then? 4 times since then?
Here's the thing, though. Is that if they knew that he was alive... I'm talking over you. I'm so sorry. I got in my head.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm just saying, like, the example I always like to bring up is when Sydney gets attacked in part 3. Dewey has the forethought to go, because Sydney's in hiding at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He has the forethought to go to
Sunrise Studios.
No, he goes back to Woodsboro to the police department and removes her file completely, so that whoever broke in, just for protection. And then it turns out someone did break in a few days later looking for her file. He had that forethought. If he had that forethought, with her being attacked 4 times since the original, he would have had the forethought to double check and bring it up. Oh, by the way, I checked on Stu. He's still incarcerated. Like, I don't know. For me and other people, obviously probably different. If you try, and this is the biggest hurdle with the Stu haters, is explaining why he hasn't been brought up in the 4 sequels if they know he's still alive. There would have been some mention of him.
Possibly, but there wasn't ever any mention that he was dead either. So you could play it both ways. That the reason why he's never been brought up is because he's still incarcerated, and they know where he's at, and that's why he hasn't been threatened. But
an argument.
But with what Wes Craven wanted to do with 3, from I guess what we understand is that he was actually orchestrating it from prison. The original idea. So bring that back up, and so you can always have it where that's why now, maybe not Sydney and Kincaid, although I think that'd be awesome. But that's one way to reintroduce Stu, is that now suddenly there's some fingerprints on this that look like it could be Stu that's involved in something, or one of the killers. You can have it in the plot of 6 is directly connected to maybe he knew Stu, or what I'm saying, whatever it is. Like,
I don't think it holds up, man. Like, they know he's in jail, so they never checked on him. Like, no, like
maybe they did check on him because he is in jail.
Well, what about this?
That never got brought up.
Doesn't matter.
It for the audience then.
When? Why?
Yeah. Well, the exact same reason they made a point for Dewey to tell on screen that he went back and removed Sydney's file.
Okay.
The exact same reason.
Could be the exact same. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to show like they're taking care of things. They're actually trying to solve things. If they come out and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, Stu's been in jail for 25 years. We've never mentioned it."
Right.
But now you're gonna lose people.
So here's the thing, though, is that, so let's say for the same motivation of Dewey going in and removing a file, if they knew that Stu was still incarcerated and still safe in spot, but somebody else was trying to find Sydney, of course he'd go back and remove the file. Stu doesn't have to be explained in any way, shape, or form up until now. There's no real reason. And then on top of that, with Dewey saying that he's a real loony bin in present time, everyone's so focused on Billy. And that's why Billy's brought up so much throughout, because he was killed and he was, the mastermind type thing. And this other guy is just some crazy loony guy that's locked away. We don't have to worry about him because Billy was the main focus.
Randy does refer to him in the past tense.
But Dewey,
you have to tell me when that was.
Yeah,
so I remember.
Also, Dewey would have a point to make sure he was locked up. Remember?
Yeah, like people escape captivity all the time.
Like, he's going to have a reason. He was a cop, and people do escape. If anybody would have a reason to check up to see if Stu was fine, it's him. And
who said he didn't?
He's still locked up.
Mm-hmm. But who said he didn't?
If they retcon that now,
who said he did?
Exactly. That's my point. So then you. So
your point is you have flexibility as a writer.
Flexibility with it
because it was not on record either way.
Exactly.
You can. I got you.
Yeah, but it'd have to be on record. If he's in prison.
I don't know. Like, that's
okay. So let's back up. So Bob, you're talking about within the world of this situation. It'd have to be on record that he was.
I'm talking
in prison,
about the world of Scream. Scream is still somewhat
right.
grounded in reality.
I got you. Okay, so we were
documentations.
Right, I'm talking about the writing of it. So let me go down there. But I don't understand why there couldn't be documentation of Stu being alive. That's my point. I don't think anywhere in any of the sequels they said that he was dead. Where they have said Billy died.
Technically they never said they never all out say he's dead. Randy does refer to him as he was when Randy is on the phone with Ghostface, he's talking. He says Randy, or no, he says Stu was a
bleepy bleep bleep
Like,
bleep.
he was just
And
this.
he's also referring to the time where he was killing people. So he was.
Well, he's referring to them like their character, because he says Billy was a, I believe what he says, quote unquote, homo repressed mama's boy.
That's right.
And then he called. I don't know if I'm not going to say the other one because I don't know if Steven is okay with that.
It does, it doesn't matter what he said. It just matters.
But he says Randy, or he says Stu was this.
At that time, he sure was.
But that's the thing too.
I think there's flexibility. That's all.
The thing about the use of words like was. There's different tenses of that, right? So, and again, I know we're really splitting hairs now, but for example, we're getting granular, baby.
Yeah,
but
nitty gritty.
Yeah, we are. But like for example, you can make a comment like and like you could say, and Bill Clinton, he was president of the United States. Well, he's still alive, but I'm just making a statement that at that time he was president. So. And you can say that about anybody. This person was, he was in high school, or whatever. So I guess my point is there's room to maneuver that a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Let me strengthen that just a little bit. Number one, again, if Randy's talking about how Stu was at the time of how when he was working with Billy, that's who he was at that time.
Right.
Versus, also with Dewey again saying he is a loony bin. So you do have a President's Day talk about Stu, but Randy can be explained saying he was explaining how he was during the events of 2 years ago in Woodsboro.
Okay, so what you just said, using your example, Stephen, Bill Clinton was the president of the United States. The only reason you would say that is because he changed. He's not that anymore. So does that mean Randy's talking about him like he's grown as a character? He's not this anymore. He was a bad person, but he's not anymore.
But that's the only time frame that Randy knew him. Was back.
Randy knew him. It was kind of indicated they grew up together because they were in high school together.
Sorry, let me clarify. So what I'm saying is that Randy, if say Stu survived and he was incarcerated, Randy hasn't known him for 2 years because he's been incarcerated. He has no contact with whatever, but he was like this when these events happened. And this is how he remembers Stu in that past tense.
Here's the thing. Realistically, and if we want to say grounded in reality, by the time that this happened, Stu wouldn't even have been tried yet. There wouldn't even have been a trial. Do you know how long it would have taken for them to get case stuff together and actually go to trial?
At least
he pleaded insanity.
At least 5 years, if not longer. For all
if you plead, yeah,
they went through. It'd be about
even if you plead insanity, like there, and
or
I don't know.
He pleads guilty for a lesser amount of years or something stupid. I don't know. I'm just saying there's ways around it. It's not so airtight that it couldn't be a possibility.
And it may be one of those things
it's just
where
me personally, I think it is.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing. The writers, whatever the writers, if they do bring Stu back and we knock on every piece of wood in your car and your house, okay, that it happens. If they do it, no matter how they do it, I think we all know this because this Stu is such a volatile, passionate topic within the Scream fandom on both sides. Mm-hmm. Really, there's three sides. There's the I want it die hard, I don't want it die hard, or the ones in the middle where I'm fine either way. It's kind of where the three buckets are. But the people in the middle, they're not going to give this an ounce of thought. If he's there, they're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. If he's not, whatever. But for the other buckets where we fall into I think I can speak for all of us. We fall into to the very passionate pro Stu bucket. After all, we did do a People versus Stu Mocker a couple months ago, and so I think that even for all of us, there's going to be some of us disappointed with how it's done. I think that's something that we have to be ready for. So for example, if James and Guy write this in a way that Stu has been incarcerated, and he breaks out of jail or something. And they explain it like, well, I thought he was like, if Gail says something like, or let's say Kirby says, Stu, I thought he was in prison still, and Gail's like, well, he's been in prison for the last 25 years. But we just got notice that he's broken out or what. I'm using that as an example. All right. Let me my point across is this. Some of us are going to hate that. But I think even if they don't go that route, let's say they do the whole route that he's been dead. And that they think he's dead and it's a surprise and we're all and the characters are shocked. There's going to be a sect of the fandom that's going to hate that. They're going to be like, there's no way he could have been alive without people. They're going to be ready to chop us at the knees. So my point is, no matter what reason they use for Stu to come back, Tara's backstory, there's a group of people with their irons, like the mob scene. They got the iron. They got their hockey sticks and their machetes. Yeah. They're ready to go. They're ready to chop them down. And here's my ultimate point. I completely respect everyone's view on the panel. But here's my thought on it, and maybe think of it like this: we may not get him back with a backstory that we would have written, but if they bring him back, let's enjoy it. Let's not lose. Don't sit there and criticize no matter which way it happens, and lose the joy of him being there.
I can't do that.
I'm sorry. That's just. I waited 25 years to have him back.
Yeah, but I don't want it to sacrifice the story for it. And in my opinion, if they just. I don't know. If they just say, oh, just some passing line, I thought he was in jail this entire 25 years. I don't know.
Who's saying that they thought he was in jail?
Oh, it's just hypothetical.
That was a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Okay, because why can't people know that he's in jail?
That's the thing. If they just, even if they bring up some line oh, he's been in jail for 25 years.
Yeah.
Like the scene in part 2 with Randy and Dewey sitting at the table. Hypothesizing who it could be. That Stu wouldn't have come up. What about him? No, I already checked. That little line,
would have gone a long way.
That little line,
but it's not necessary.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's right. I don't know that it is though, because let's say if we were all four of us were having dinner, and we were talking, and there's someone that we all mutually know that's been in prison. Right, let's just say. And we know that they have a life sentence. So like no chance of parole kind of situations, let's say. So we know there's we don't have to be checking the calendar every 4 years for a parole board or something. If we're talking about something and some events start happening like how it happened with this person 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm just being totally honest. I don't know that I would ever even think about bringing him up to you guys saying, hey, have y'all checked if Stu's still in prison? Because it was a life sentence without parole.
Well,
I'm just saying, I don't think I would do that. Now, somebody might. One of you guys may. I mean, in my mind, he's a locked box, and he's buried, or he's in the ocean in a bottle. He's gone, right?
He would be buried if he was dead, but he's not. So.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, too. Another reason why maybe they don't bring that up in Scream 2 is because there is no news of him breaking out. I think that would be newsworthy.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. If you're investigating what you assume is copycat killers, and one of the original killers is still alive, there is zero justification for you not saying, let's just double check. And maybe it's not a copycat.
And not just that. Randy's the horror rules guy. You're telling me if Stu was alive, that literally can't come into his equation because you're living a horror movie. Everything's a possibility when you're breaking down the whole
now what you're saying, Brett, about part 3, if he had done it in part 3 and he would have been in jail, I would have been all for it at that time.
What are you? What?
What you said about Stu like being in prison or
Oh, okay.
whatever in part 3,
Yeah.
I would have been all for it at that time because we're setting up. He set up the rules for a trilogy. How something you thought was true from the beginning wasn't true. You thought Stu was dead, or you thought he was in jail.
I gotta tell you, dude, you and I are on the same wavelength, but with the different opinions. I think it's so funny because I was about to bring up the same thing, but in the other argument of that or debate of that, whatever you want to call it, where I think that because he goes, something may not be true, something's different that you thought was true that wasn't, that could still work toward
the jail
Stu.
thing. You mean that?
I don't know, but anyway, but I get what you're saying with that one. I just think that we're putting way more thought into it than what could actually just be explained in a more simplistic way.
Let me say something else, Brett, to piggyback. And here's the sad part, and I know that this sounds terrible, but I suspect we're probably putting more thought into this than the screenwriters that are actually writing this story. And that's sad because I bet you their conversation is a quarter of what we've talked about. It's like, so we're going to write Stu back in this movie? What do you think? Maybe, we could always say he's in prison, or we could say he's dead. And like, what do you want to do? You want to do it? Nah, let's save it for 7. And then, I mean, literally, and I'm not trying to knock these guys. I don't know them personally, but I'm just telling you, I do believe some of the movies, let's be honest, that we've seen, I've said this before, I believe we could all sit in a room at a table for a month and write a better film, a better story. So, because we are such listen to the granular level of this discussion. The casual fan right now, if someone tuned in, and just
like, what are they talking about?
Their eyeballs would be rolled to the back of their heads.
We're pulling out rules for free, and we're pulling.
Yeah, like what are you talking about? Past tense, present tense, and
you know what? Though?
That's the rules.
The best writers' room. The best writers' room is what's happening right now. Because
I
agree.
Throw
things at the wall, and you see and you really go at it for fun. I hope everyone's having fun, by the way.
Like, you respectfully, of
not
course,
getting serious with it. But
this is
but
fun.
See, and I'm on board with the idea too that if Stu was to have escaped or faked his death, no, not at all. I would want to do Stu is locked away in this secure environment, whatever it is, mental facility. If it's as long as it's like a prisonized, if that's a word, mental facility, or it's a prison itself with whatever ward like that. I would be cool. I'd be fine with that. I think that's good enough. And what I would love to see is that Stu is orchestrating what's been happening recently. And it's something he's been planning for a long time, and making sure it's perfect. And then also, I'll have to read that in 2 seconds. But but also that they can use him in maybe even in 7, almost in a Hannibal Lecter type way of trying to track down either is he involved with these new killers, or can you give us insight what you're saying too with what like number 2 with copycat killers to see if you can give insight or something like that. You know what I'm saying? There's just possibilities. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Okay, here's a question. Why would they do that now?
Because there has to be a character in 6 that somehow is connected to Stu to make him a suspect.
I mean,
there has to be, because internet's different now.
Every killer so far has had some connection to Stu.
Okay.
Mickey and Miss Loomis. Miss Loomis was Billy's mom. They obviously had some sort of connection there.
Roman.
But if he's
Roman taught Stu, taught Stu and Billy. Sydney's cousin. She's got the connection there. Why are they just now investigating Stu?
Because of the cult. Because of how
they don't know about a cult. Why didn't they investigate him before?
Well, they could in this movie. That's possible.
That's what I'm saying. They would now because it's more currently that again, internet's different. The way that he connect outside of the prison is different. If people who idolized him, kind of like how these other killers have in the other movies, have
kind of
grown
like how
up,
we do.
Yeah, but have grown up, and if they knew that he was in this facility, could start becoming staff. And this could all start going into this whole cult idea about how people are rationalized and how it's part of something bigger, like how Amber said that this is something bigger. I just want to be part of something, that type thing. And I think that's why now that's an explanation to explore of why now versus the other ones that did seem disconnected from what he was doing because he was over here. doing this.
I mean, I don't
Four, you
think
can
any
make
of
an
them are
argument,
really
though, that-
disconnected.
I was going to say
To
4
this-
would be the most connected because it was back in Woodsboro.
I'm just talking about why the killer and
Right.
the motivation. So the fans want to redo a stab. They want to bring it back. But again, it's what Amber. It's the breadcrumbs that were put in there saying
I
It
agree.
was rationalized. She wanted to be part of something bigger, blah blah, and just
Yes.
was alluding to that there's something else going on, and that's where you start that storyline, and then the through line would be through 6 to connect into 7 with Stu. That's
I
just what I would
completely
do.
agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree with all of that, except for I don't think they know it's Stu. I don't think anyone knows it's Stu because I believe everyone thinks Stu is dead, and I think that's the only way it works.
Okay. Well, open your mind and pretend that he's not. No, I'm just kidding. I say that to people too. Where I'm like, and this isn't really toward you. This is just a general thing where I love the back and forth because I do this even with my crew now on the film. Every day, every shoot day, we're like, well, okay, now are we sure about this? Then we go back and forth for fun and make sure it's solid. And it's one of those things where sometimes we will do it to each other. We'll say, well, we're saying this can't happen. Now try to talk yourself and try to figure out how it can happen. And then you have to then not rewires, but it makes you go through different scenarios. And then you settle down to this really great mutual idea of how it could work and can't work on both sides. It's just it's a fun exercise. But anyway,
you don't at all
Dyer's
feel
in
like
the
it would have
house.
been lazy writing
on what?
For them to just be like, oh, and by the way,
if
we haven't mentioned him for 4 movies, but he's still been here.
If you have a backstory that hasn't been explained yet, yeah, I think you could do it. And it'd have to be great writing. You're absolutely right. If it was bad writing and they did it, it could go either way. That's not the.
All right. So here's the question: with the writing, the level of writing we got on 5, do you think it would be done well?
I think that I don't know.
We can hope.
And not to mention how much studio interference is going to take place in this as well.
That's
We
true
don't
too,
know
man.
about that.
Yeah.
Right.
The studio might have a good idea where they want to go and mess over James and Guy.
Yeah, see, I'm just doing hypotheticals. I'm not necessarily really going theory that this is what's going to happen. I think it's just hypotheticals. If you bring Stu back, this would be kind of cool. Remember, this is off of this whole conversation is off of me coming up with an idea for an ending for 6 that isn't connected to real anything of any fact or proof that's actually happening in 6. So this is all hypothetical.
Good
ideas.
stuff, though.
It's fun.
Here's what I want. Here's an ending I want.
Okay.
So I want what I said. 2 killers. One of them does get killed midway through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guards come down. People think they're okay. Then they start up again with like even more viciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Then we find out the second Ghostface, whoever it may be, is killed at the end. And when we think that's the end of the movie, the phone they have on them rings.
Mm-hmm.
Someone goes and grabs it and picks it up, and like we hear a voice that's oh so familiar, and then it clicks over really quick, and we see on the other end of the line is Stu, and it cuts.
Nice.
It cuts there.
Love it.
We don't give too much. We just give that we know he's alive. We now know he's the mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
And in 7, here's the thing: don't give any backstory till 7.
Yeah.
Because if you give a backstory in 6 and it's the wrong backstory, box office goes down for 7. 100%.
Yeah.
Plus, leave the mystery for a whole year or 2. Leave that mystery. Let us talk. Can you imagine the live streams we'll have and the videos that we will make for a year or 2 talking about Stu, knowing he's back, and all the possible. Oh my gosh, guys. It would be like on cloud 9 every single live stream. Because Stu's, it's like, no, you won't even be like hoping. It'll be like Christmas morning for a year, waiting till the movie comes out. It would be amazing.
It would be fun.
I'll
give you that, but I want Detective Prescott in 7.
Ah, there you go. I'll take it. Real quick, let's get to the chat. Jason Dyer in the house. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Thanks for joining the stream, Stu Train. Stu lives, baby. Yes, he does. And hashtag Fate wants Stu back. Yeah, he just doesn't realize it, but he really does. I do believe that. Travis says, I feel like if you pay attention in 5, they're telling us he's alive with all the tidbits. I agree. I've got like 3 videos up about, and I think that the breadcrumbs are, as how I like to say it. The breadcrumbs are there if you really pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all on board that he's alive. I think we just have differing opinions on how to write that as fact.
He was just crapping on my idea. I'm kidding. I'm joking. No,
I was.
I love it.
I have been.
You know what? I thought
that
a bit.
No, I mean it's cool. Like I if they do it well, I'll embrace it. But honestly, I've been thinking about this for so long because I've been on the Stu train for so long. I haven't thought of a scenario from a writer's perspective, from a story perspective, that where anything other than he's dead that makes sense in context of the story. And I don't want to sacrifice for Stu.
Yep.
Keith, I like that saying.
Keith says, if Jack Champion is not going to be bloodline to Stu Macher, I'm going to be a bit surprised and a bit upset. I hear you, Keith, because it's interesting because Jack Champion began following Matthew Lillard on Twitter right after he was announced to be on the cast member. Once they announced Jack was on board, he started following Matthew Lillard out of the blue. And that's interesting. So I think there's going to be and the Stu bloodline. Maybe it's another nephew, cousin. I don't know, but I think there could be something that could be your connection. Yes.
Yeah, but we already had a Stu connection with the one nephew already, so I wouldn't have been brought up. We did.
Right.
So why wouldn't it have been brought up then?
Well, I don't know.
I didn't write the movie. If I did, it probably would have been different.
Vince would have been. He would have been a red herring that whole movie, all the way to the final act. But I know. I don't know, Bob. That's a good question, man. We'll see. And again, it could be a coincidence, but it's just those kind of things I pay attention to. Just those little weird following Matthew Lillard. The guy's 17 years old. There's a 17-year-old kid following Matthew Lillard from a Scream movie 25 years ago. It's interesting. That's all. Chris at Discover Montreal, words of wisdom. I think we may need to lower our expectations for 6, considering the missteps of 5 and the clear misunderstanding of the franchise by the writers. There's some wisdom to be said there. I think Chris he's got a point. Let's it's okay to be excited. I'm excited for 6, but let's not get, again, we could write this in a way in our heads that's going to be amazing, and we may set ourselves up for failure, unfortunately. But we got to be careful. But
I disagree. I think we should have high expectations. I don't want it to get to a point where the writers are like, it's okay if we don't do well because they're not expecting a lot. No, I don't want that. I want them to know that we expect a great story and that we expect a good film. And if it's definitively not, then they should know about it. I mean, I'm not saying we do anything crazy. I'm not saying be toxic or anything like that. But I don't think it's wrong to want them to make a good movie.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's where I like to see it.
Yeah.
I hope it's for the best. I hope this amazing movie, maybe, but I'm prepared for it to not be. What's up, Bob? What's up, brother?
I have to agree with Eric on this. If we keep having low expectations, we're going to fall into, and I know I bring this up a lot and it has no connection, but WWE, the writing has been horrible. It used to be they actually cared what the fans want. That's now collapsed. It's all been about who they want as the top guy. The writing's gone down the drain. If we hold people to low expectations, things will never get better. Things will only get worse because the writers and that'll be, oh, well, we could just pump something out for a quick buck.
Right.
I care about what the fans want. People, I'm sorry, I have to hold it to a high expectation, or to me, it's just going to fall into the depths of not returning. And I don't feel that's something this franchise needs. This whole franchise rebooted Wes Craven's career when you think about it. He needed that one movie, and Scream was that one movie. And to me, it shouldn't lay dormant. It should always be somewhere near the spotlight so fans can find that.
It's true, man.
Right.
Well said.
Well, I think I know. I'm not going to speak for his name's Chris, right? Where he says,
Yeah.
have low expectations. I think he's just saying have a lower. I think we have these
Yeah,
grand
yeah.
ideas and unapproachable
Right.
expectations. I don't think he's saying, hey, let's just let them slide.
No,
I think it's
agree.
just that like we're thinking all these technical crazy.
Yes.
And I actually hear that too with a lot of the Halloween theories on these streams and things too, where it's like this could happen, but it's more we're kind of fan fictioning right now versus what we think is actually going to happen.
Yep.
And but if we do have the expectation where it's going to hit something that we would deem good enough versus what you're going to give us, kind of what Craven said earlier, like let's at least enjoy it and try to enjoy it just because it doesn't hit our expectation of what we would do or we think should happen. We should at least give it a shot to take in what they did do, and then if that does disappoint, it disappoints, but maybe we could be more surprised, but just not tarnish it by our expectation versus what the expectation of what they'll bring to us, if that makes sense.
True.
Yeah, I want to clarify that.
Good night, Lee.
Oh yeah,
good night,
Lee. Good night.
I want to clarify that I won't dislike the movie automatically if it's not what I would have done. Mm-hmm. That's never something I'll do. If it's a good movie, it's a good movie, even if it's not exactly what I wanted. I don't want Laurie to die. If it's a good movie and Laurie dies, it's still a good movie. I'm not gonna give it negativity at all if it's done well. But
exactly.
I'm just thinking if we for instance with this whole Stu thing, if they just did something where they don't even address it, they don't even give it a backstory, they just bring him in and he's here now. I'm not gonna sit and by and be it's okay. It's fine. No, I have an expectation.
Yeah, and I don't think that's what is being asked of you. I think it's more or less of just lower expectations to see what they bring to the table, and if they don't bring it to the table, if they don't, then be disappointed, absolutely. But just don't go in with low, with expectations that are completely unreachable. I think is kind of what was being said.
I feel like you got to.
You could still have high expectations
with Wes Craven, Wes took this and kept it for a while. I don't know. I don't think I can lower them too much because I'm always going to go in with that West level.
Let's change the word. Yeah. Let's change the word from lower to realistic expectations. I think that'd be a little bit better.
Well,
I'm sorry. I think his are realistic. I think those are realistic expectations he has because you're right.
And I think
we're supposed to be able to story tell. I don't see how that's needing to lower that expectation. When you're writing something, you should be put on a higher standard because you're not just making a book that must sell to a couple thousand people. You're trying to make a movie that you want to be successful in a box office to continue your little franchise of a trilogy you're doing. You don't want to have that plummet.
And just to add on top of that, you saw Barbarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen it yet, so please.
I'm not going to talk anything about the movie. I'm just going to bring up a fantastic writing.
Yeah.
Okay.
X, fantastic writing. Pearl, fantastic writing. I don't think it's unrealistic to want Scream to have the same thing. So
again, I think it's unreachable expectations. I think you can still have high expectations, or if you want to do low expectations, but it's not to lower it just because of what's come before it. If that makes sense.
Well, I'm not lowering.
I think that's what they're saying because I think we're talking this big, huge game, and this is what's going to happen. And I think that's what he's trying to say is bring it down to more of a reality of this could still be high expectations, but they're realistic high expectations, not unapproachable or unreachable high expectations. Or whatever you want to be.
Well, and a lot of times too, you got to remember, the writers rarely are going to meet. They're not making this movie to meet our expectations. They're writing a movie to meet their expectations. So what they create, it's from their imaginations. Now they want us to love it as fans. Obviously, it's made for the fans. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it is, I want a well-constructed film. I want it shot well. I want to watch a film written well, and they may veer way off from what I would want to see. Like the story I would write with you guys, and we script out a script.
Yeah.
Like this is the perfect Scream 6 in my mind, and our mind, or whatever. However, I also realize that writing it to meet my expectations from my mind, they're writing it to achieve greatness from their own. And their story, it may be a 180 from what I would ever write for this film. But my thing is this: as long as they do it well, and it's performed well, it's executed well, and I can at the very least say they did a great job making this film. I didn't care for the story, or maybe I would do it differently, but I can appreciate that this movie wasn't written for me. This movie may have been written, this is going to be someone else's favorite movie in the franchise. It may not be mine, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm all right with that. So I say for me, my expectation level is to make a good movie. It's not to write the script I want. It's not to bring Stu back a certain way. It's just make a good movie. And if you can do that, I'll support it. That's all.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said. Before is like even if it's not what I want, if it's good, it's good.
Right, it's good.
And I'm totally okay with that. But I don't know. I don't feel like anything we talked about was unrealistic. I was using those other movies like Barbarian, X as examples of like realistic writing that's happening right now.
Yeah.
That's that good. And I'm going to be honest. I want Scream to be on that level of writing and on that level of story.
Sure.
So.
Oh, same. There's no reason why it couldn't be.
Exactly. And that was the only point I was thinking is like, it is realistic to think it could be there because it's happening in other franchises.
Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff.
It's up to them to write an amazing story and get us enthralled. I don't feel that's unrealistic. They have to write a well-written story. It's not what I want, but it has to be written and well executed.
Well, remember what Tyler said, Bob, and I'm holding him to this. We're willing to risk it all to subvert fan expectations for Scream 6. And
taking it all the way back.
Yeah, and we are so far down the rabbit hole of these sequels that everything's up for grabs. I'm quoting Tyler Gillett, one of the directors. So I'm going to hold him to the standard of I want to be surprised. He says he's risking everything for me as a fan to be surprised, to make my expectations be completely blown away. So I'm going to hold him to the standard he set it for himself.
Exactly. Okay, there we go, Brett. He said it. They said it themselves, so we can't hold them to the high standards.
They did.
I'm kidding, man.
You know what? You know what? You're laughing and smiling. You're laughing and smiling right now, and you haven't been for like the last 30 minutes. So I'm happy that you're okay. I was. I'm getting under his skin. Like we need to.
Oh no! I've been happy this whole time. Like I love having these discussions, even if it's someone who completely disagrees with me. As long as like I can hear your point and you can hear my point, I'm happy to have the discussion.
Sweet.
Like. Yeah. Even if I'm not actively laughing and smiling, I love these discussions.
I'm just getting to know you. Let's write a script together.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll send you something. I'll send you something later.
All right. We'll get Craven involved and Bob.
Hey, let's do it. Memo Boy says, what about this theory? If Ghostface wants to target all the survivors in the past and kill them all, but then they had to bring Sidney back.
Yeah, that's that one.
Yeah, that's the monkey. That's the monkey wrench in that plan.
I'm still holding out hope we're gonna get a split second of Sydney at the end too.
That'd be great.
I'm with you. I think we're still gonna get that ending that they wanted with her in it. I think it's now at this point of being so far hush hush that they were able to get her in for that like quick second cameo at the end.
What happened?
Fingers crossed.
Your audio, bro.
Hey, Eric, we lost your audio. No, we can't hear you.
Did your batteries die?
I see you. We just can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear.
You have to do sign language.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe those earbuds batteries went out.
It's the spirit of Stu.
It's
Taken
Stu
out.
Still holding
Maka.
us all.
Stu Train.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
You can?
Stu was. We thought
Yep.
it's set.
All right. I don't know what it was because like I could still hear you through the headphones, so
Okay.
they're still
Oh.
on. No, what I was saying is, say they did. We know they want to bring Sydney back. We know they do. If they've already negotiated for 7,
Yep.
then if they wanted to have her do a cameo at the end, no one else has to be involved. They just need her in a room. Maybe it's something as simple as answering a phone. She could do that from her house.
Mhm.
Like
Oh yeah, they don't have to film there. Yeah.
That's right.
like the new Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know if anyone's seen it. The very end credit scene has like Russell Crowe and he plays Zeus and Hercules is in it. All like Zeus, Hercules, and the director were all in different locations, shot the entire thing on green screen, and edited together seamlessly.
I swear, you and I are on the same page because I was going to bring up Thor: The Dark World, where they had Loki, Thor, and Anthony Hopkins, and they were on 3 different continents when they shot that sequence. So yeah,
So,
they
like,
piece it
That's
together.
crazy.
Yep.
They, even though they're done with principal photography, they could very easily,
Yes.
if they worked it out for her to already be in 7, do a quick thing where
Yep.
she's answering a phone, and that's it. We got Sydney for a split second at the end. That 10 seconds would make every person's day in the theater. No matter if it wasn't a great movie. And when they see that at the end, instantly everyone's going to feel better.
You know what would be really cool to do it
Yep.
is you know how they do like the cast and they give the names during the credits at the end. They always do like a cast whatever, and then it just cuts to that Sydney scene, and then it cuts to her title thing saying "and Nev Campbell."
Oh man,
something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
It'd be a thunderous applause in the
Right?
theater. It would erupt if she was on the screen.
Yep.
Man.
We'll see.
So Chris is saying he's got some sources there in Montreal. I know him and I talked about it. That they won't talk about it. It's a super secret thing that they are insisting that she filmed for 3 days. That they had built a set for her and had wardrobe for her, but the secrecy behind the thing was insane. Yeah, and I had someone else who actually, I can't reveal who this is, but they've made me swear to secrecy. But they're the ones that provided me the images. I don't know if you saw the images I put out of Chad Meeks, the actor for Chad Meeks, in the for the posters that are going to be coming out. If you guys saw the video I put out, where this person worked at Mel's studio back and helped with production of the sound stages, and this person took these images that I put out, and they went all over Twitter after my video went out, and they're like everywhere now. But they're exclusive from this individual that they took them and sent them from their own phone to me. And one of them is, you see Chad. What's Chad's name? Mason, right? What's his name? Mason Gooding. That's it.
Yeah, Mason Gooding.
Mason Gooding. Where he's sitting on a chair and you see him with the ghost face gloves on, and he's like wiping the blood off of with his hand. And that's what the poster's going to be. They're doing it for all the cast members. And
oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be.
Cool.
They were filming all the featurettes for the DVD that day, all the behind the scenes interviews, and they were filming the poster shoots. So all these still shots that they're going to turn into posters probably in December. So whenever I see that poster, I'm going to show you guys again the original photo with the green screen where he's got the gloves on. But the cool thing is, and above that, is he was saying I was asking about, the whole Nev thing. I said, hey, man, I know that you're under an NDA and stuff, so I know you can't really answer this. But he told me, he said that, oh gosh, I wish I had the actual verbiage in front of me right now. Basically what he said was, I can't, he said, here's what I can tell you, is what he said, is that she was not there on the days I was there. I can tell you that. And and it was like so kind of cryptic like that. I'm like, huh, okay. You could take that in a couple of different ways. So it was the impression I got from this individual, and he said something else too, but it was basically leaving it very ambiguous.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
That reminds me of in that Stu video when Matthew Lillard says he's not in 5. I can tell you that.
Yes, exactly.
It kind of reminds me of that, where he's like, I'm not saying he's not in 6 or 7, but I can tell you he's not in 5. Okay, I get
exactly.
You. Picking up what you're putting down.
Yep.
That's right.
Unless I'm lying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm still just holding out hope that she's going to be in it for a little bit.
Me too. Me too, man. I would love that.
I'm convinced now.
Oh yeah, you convinced?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me not to sway over and say she's going to be in it based on all this. The way everyone's talking, like these inside people who are legit, they're like, well, she wasn't there on the days I was there.
Well, you're hearing it from multiple people, right? It's not just one.
I am.
So
yes, I am. I'm hearing from multiple people, and
there's smoke,
and all of them are like, it's all under lock and key, and even one of Chris's sources we talked about, who is all I'm going to say is they're plugged in, they're in the know, all right, and they would even refuse. Their answer was what was it? I can neither basically I can't confirm or deny.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's
That's
like
a confirmation.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're
pleading the fifth.
You're walking the line, so you're not breaking your NDA, but you're like, come on, man. So I'm hoping that that's the case. It would be so cool.
Yeah, for sure.
It would.
I got a question.
Yeah.
And it's still Scream talk, but it's kind of moving away from. It could be moving away from Sydney. Is there something unrealistic that y'all would love to see in Scream 6?
That's unrealistic?
Yeah, I have one.
Oh, okay. Well, give me your example. Yeah.
Yeah, you start us off then, man.
Yeah, give us an example.
And I know I've talked about it before, but what I really want is more Randy, like actual Randy. I brought it up before, but I think that it would be awesome if Martha was to like maybe pull the twins aside and be like, you're old enough now, now that you've gone through this, I just wanted to show you this, and it maybe be a tape that Randy recorded, because we know he did. He recorded the one for Sydney explaining the trilogy rules. What if he recorded another one like just for his family, and like we got to see that, and it was just I don't know, just something that could like maybe even spark something in them to maybe even help out with a case inadvertently. But I think I would absolutely love if there was another Randy tape that we haven't seen, just to get some more original Randy, because as good as all the others have been with, with Hayden and the Charlie and whatever, none of them have actually been Randy other than Randy. So it would be great. So yeah, something like that. I know it's totally unrealistic now with, how old Jamie is and stuff. But that would be something that probably it's not even in the cards, but I would love to see it.
I would hate that they would spend the money that would absolutely be necessary to de-age him and not pay Nev Campbell to be in it in the first place. Because I saw Jamie Kennedy on Friday and Saturday because he was at our Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. He looks great, is all I'll say. I saw him. It'll take a lot of work. It'll take a lot of work to make him look like Randy again.
I saw him this past May, I think it was.
Yeah,
he was nice. He's a very nice guy, though.
Now, if he shaved, though, if he shaved all that facial hair, that would make a difference, I think. I think that would help.
Come a long way. I think they could totally do it. I'm just saying that.
The visual effects to do it would be so expensive.
Yeah, his face doesn't need to be in it.
Yes. That's a cool idea, though, Eric. I mean,
that is a cool idea.
we get to see Eric. I mean, get to see Randy again, and
See Eric too. Right?
get, yeah, maybe you never
There he
know.
is.
He may pop up. It would be pretty cool. Yeah. Have either of you guys thought of something like that? Bob, have you thought of anything that you'd like to see?
This is
No matter how
this
crazy
is
it is, it doesn't matter.
this is really off the wall with tie-in if you're gonna do a show. Why not at least get like a few of the casters from seasons 1 and 2 in there? Maybe make a small cameo on a podcast or something, talking about their experience out in Lakewood. And they're doing a Stab TV series instead of
Nice.
a movie.
That would be.
And
I
that
would
would
love
tie
that
in
if we
with
saw
TV
like
series.
Willa Holland or
Yeah, well,
It would have to
Fitzgerald,
be.
John Garner
It, w-
and
Yeah,
Bex Taylor Clow.
yeah,
It would have to
I can't
be
remember
very
the other one off
small.
the top of my head.
Yeah, it'd have to
Yeah.
be very small for. Sorry, the mass majority who didn't watch that show to where it's not distracting for them not to know who they are.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool. Hey, look at your bots are back, bro.
Oh no,
Get them.
I gotta shoot these suckers down. Get off of my channel. I don't want, you here.
I want
Go.
more. I want more
You shall
Ghost
not
Marine.
pass.
That's
more
right.
More Ghost Marine in the movies. That's what I want.
Oh yes,
Oh.
let's get Lynn McCree
Yeah, here's
back
some
in
more.
this movie.
I want Ghost Miss Prescott to fight hallucination Billy.
Billy.
Like those two, those two just go at
Oh
it.
no.
Make it a triple threat. Get Stu in there.
No, that's what I was about to say. She could look at Billy and be like, "Where's Stu?" and he just give her a look.
He's like, I'm waiting
still
for him
alive.
to die.
Yeah.
Yes, waiting for him to die.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
That's a great. Yeah, listen, man. If Lynn McCree or Nancy Ann Ritter
Get any of them.
get back in one of these movies, bro, Craven Something Scary channel is going Hollywood. We're gonna be, man. I'm telling you what, it's gonna be bonkers here if this
Exclusives.
happens. Exclusives out the wazoo,
Yep.
guaranteed. They've already promised me, so it would be
Um,
incredible if that was to happen.
Yeah.
So we can,
Sydney.
I mean, I
fingers
want
crossed.
that just also because they're just great people and like they're really good in the movie. Like,
Yep,
it'd be awesome to see them in there.
that's right.
Yeah. Mommy wants to talk to you.
What if Stu hears about the Jill stuff and both unmasked at the end? What if Stu hears about the Jill stuff, both unmasked at the end? I'm trying to track with you. I want to make sure I understand.
I think what the question is what if Stu heard about the events from 4, the Jill stuff, and they both were unmasked at the end?
That Jill is still alive.
Oh,
Jill would
okay.
still be alive. I mean, that would definitely.
That's one.
That would definitely get my expectations thrown off because as much
Yeah.
as I still say Jill is alive, part of me's like, no, she's not.
They're,
But I'll hold out hope on that. If Jill gets referenced at all in 6, there's a chance.
Well,
I'd
listen.
be down for it, but it'd be confusing.
It would be confusing. I'll tell you one thing about Jill. I think, in my opinion, if we see her at all, it's going to be in the form of a flashback scene because we know at Mel's studio they built a set for Kirby's house with the wraparound porch and everything.
oh, really?
So yes,
Yeah.
they've built a Kirby house
I didn't pay more attention.
on set. Dude, just watch my
I'm
videos. What are you
making a movie.
doing?
No,
I'm
I
kidding.
do. I watch your videos. I don't
I'm
have
teasing.
a lot of time to watch all of them, unfortunately.
It's all
Right
good,
now.
man. It's all right. You come to the right place, my friend. You
Yeah,
come-
I'm
This is the-
rapping. We're rapping like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then
I
I'm watching
know.
all your stuff.
Baby, the minute it comes out, bam! First to comment, Brett James Bishop.
I just get your swag that fast. That's it.
There you go, my man. It's huge, and you do. Okay. But for real, like they've built the set for Kirby's house, so that tells me, guys, there has to be in my mind a flashback to the Kirby house in 4. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jill in a nightmare sequence. It doesn't even have to be a flashback. It can be a nightmare, a whole new sequence. How about this? Emma Roberts is doing a new attack as Ghostface in and it's new footage, but it's
Yeah.
a nightmare sequence. So
Okay.
I don't know. Just a thought.
I'm on board with that. I'm not on board with Jill still being alive.
We
Or
finally agree.
That's a tough
if she
one.
is alive, she's not functioning.
Right.
Like
She's a vegetable.
taking an AED to the head, like that will stop your heart. That literally will kill you.
And then you're shot in the heart.
Yeah, like there's no way.
No.
If she is alive, she's brain dead. She's not in a functioning condition. And even still, who's gonna this is gonna sound awful, but I'm gonna say it anyways.
Oh no.
After what Jill did, who's not gonna pull the plug on that woman?
Yep.
Eric.
True.
Just saying. Like
Hypothetically, Stu.
who's not pulling the plug on her after what she did?
If
Like
Jill's
the person
alive, anyone can be alive at this point. That'd just be so much. I think Stu's already enough to where you have to explain it. It's explainable, but it's still reaching in some areas, but it's still explainable. But like no, anyone else, like that'd be
if you bring Jill back, you could just tell me that Stu was like undercover as Sydney's bodyguard for the last 5 years, and I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely. If you're gonna
not to crap on the Jill train, but
well, no, I mean Jill was fantastic. She's like she's my favorite Ghostface killer after Billy and Stu. Loved her, but yeah, I think bringing her back it would be really difficult, man. And like you say, if she comes back, yeah, Stu coming back is like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
That's not even
It's like there's Mickey. He's walking up to us. Say what's up, guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Debbie.
Mickey was my favorite after Billy and Stu.
I love Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey was
he's good.
top notch.
Yep.
And I like it. I only like the killers that look like they can actually physically do it. That's why I'm not a big Jill fan. Sorry, I know she's crazy, but Charlie doesn't look like he could do it. He beat Charlie down. But like Billy, Stu, Roman, Mickey, I would even maybe give it to Debbie Salt, whatever, Billy's mom, because she's at least has the height on her and whatever. But the other ones where they're like Richie, I would believe that one. But Amber, no. Sorry, Jill, no.
I'm going to say this, and I know this is a very, very hot take. I think Kieran's actually the second best to be a killer in the franchise if we're going to count the TV series as being part of the franchise as a whole. Because when you look at what he had to do in 2, because he was pretty much running alone. Like, he wasn't even pulling a Roman. He was literally the only one doing that.
He didn't have Angelina. Yeah, it was all him. Yeah.
Because Piper's dead.
Yeah, that's right. Good point.
True.
I just got to rewatching that
underrated.
season too. What's that?
I think the first 2 seasons of the show are underrated.
Oh, no question.
I wish they were marketed different. I think just looking at the title, it made it look cheesy, like Scream the series, like in a certain like Dawson's Creek or something. Like it should have been done as far as marketing better because the show deserved it.
I think the opening scene, like the opening kill with Bella Thorne in the first season, and I've said this before, I think it rivals any opening scene past Scream 1 movie. Like the suspense, the tension that was like building was crazy. It was a phenomenal opening scene.
Yep. Yeah, I just got through watching the first 2 seasons of Scream TV again. And I introduced it to my daughter. Finally, I've waited 12 years to get her to introduce her to Scream. And so we watched the first 2 seasons of the show, and she loved it. I was afraid she was going to hate it. She actually really liked it. And so I said, are you ready for the Scream masterpiece film, a Wes Craven masterpiece film? And so we watched Scream. I almost tweeted it out, but I didn't. We watched Scream for the first time, guys.
Oh, wow.
And she really enjoyed it. And I said, when it was over, I said, did you like it? She says, yeah. I said, did you really like it? She says, yeah. I said, would you watch it again? She says, yeah. I said, oh, yeah. I said, okay, we got 4 hours, so we're going to watch Scream 2 this weekend. So I'm so happy.
I know you don't go to theaters that often, but maybe consider doing Scream 2 in theaters with your daughter.
Oh, we're gonna do Scream. Well, I'm gonna do Scream 6 in the theaters with her for sure.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm taking her out of school. She will not be going to school that day.
I laugh because we
And
did that with my nieces and nephews. Yeah, that's funny.
oh yeah,
With 4.
absolutely. I already told my wife. I said, "Oh, she's going to be out of school that day, just so you know. It's already done. I'm already on the calendar." And my family, I got like my sisters are taking off work, my nieces taking off work.
Yeah.
We're all going as we're going to load in as a family to see the Scream 6. So
Yeah. There's just nothing that beats a theater experience,
yeah.
Even if you have a great sound and stuff at home, that's great. But
Mhm.
there's just something about going out and doing it.
Especially with people you care about and you love, family,
Yeah.
friends. There's a special. It's just a fun, special bonding moment when you're all together in a theater on the big screen.
Yep.
Yeah, but I save it for special occasions.
Yeah.
I like to make it even more special by hardly ever going. So
Yeah.
when I do go, it really is like an event.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's just how I like to do it. But
This is random, but do you all like, and I know you're all super busy, so it's probably not, but do you all ever watch like reactions on YouTube?
All the time.
I used to watch them all the time before I had
All
a
the
channel.
time. If
Okay,
I
so-
get a chance to watch YouTube, that's what I'm watching. And I actually have 3 lined up for after this. that I'm watching
Nice.
tonight. So
I don't know if you've ever looked into it, but like there's people who watch Scream for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and it is amazing watching it because, like, first of all, I don't think I've ever seen someone watch Scream and not like it.
Mhm.
But it's so fun watching their brains bounce around like, oh, it's got to be him. Well, no, that's a little suspicious. And like when it finally comes to the reveal,
Yes.
oh my God, it all like, I don't know
Okay.
why. It gives me such a rush of happiness
It does
watching
me too.
people experience this for the first time.
They're
When
like,
you're talking about
"What?"
sharing it with your daughter, I'm like,
Yes,
Right.
man.
like it just brought it back into my head. It's like I love watching that.
I love watching that. I love watching
Yes.
trailers because sometimes even trailers make people emotional, and I love watching that.
Yes.
I love listening to audience reactions like with Endgame or No
Oh.
Way Home. But never remember Alanda Parker. You need to watch her channel. Watch her watch Scream. She's done all of them. Watch her
Okay,
watch it.
I might have watched
she
already.
is so passionate about it, and she's so funny. Her commentary is so incredibly funny. Like you'll
Okay,
see
I
my
might have
comments.
watched it already.
Maybe okay. I'll send you the link anyway.
Yeah, send me the link. But yeah, I love watching those and trailer reactions. Yeah, I love those too. Like Marvel, I think Marvel has the best trailer reactions. Like I remember watching one when Civil War, the Civil War trailer, and we got Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and like, oh my God, people went crazy. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like watching people react to, and I've watched the trailer reactions for like Scream 5, and it's awesome. Like when people see Sydney, everyone like at that point was like, oh yeah, now we got a Scream movie. Now we got it. And it was so awesome to see.
Man,
Sorry.
especially, like some of the ones you can like I see a comment here from Darth how he's not in favor of them. He thinks they fake their reactions all the time. I'm sure some of that's out there, like just in general. I'm sure some may do that, but there's a lot of these videos where you've got these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that have never seen these movies, man, like they're from the 90s and 80s, and it's like, not to say I can't be fooled, because let's face it, we can all be fooled sometimes, but you can usually pick up genuine body language and stuff from a character. I mean, that's you can tell. You can, I think, for the most part. Maybe not all the time.
I'll tell you again, Alanda Parker, It's a Primate, and Nasser. Those are the 3 I watch the most, and they're genuine response. Like unless they're the best actors in the world.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I like Chris. You're right. I think you can tell the phony ones, and then that are just way overdoing it. You can tell. Yeah.
Well, there's even some where they'll be like, I've already seen this back when I was a kid, but I want to watch it with you guys and react. And Alanda does that a lot, where she's like, I've seen The Craft, but I really wanted to have it on the channel.
Yeah.
And they go through it. So yeah, thanks. Sorry, I talked over Bob, I think.
I'm not saying anything.
I don't know. Oh, I thought you did. Your voice is in my head. It's all good.
Also, music. I love watching people react to new music because I think if anything in the world breaks down barriers, any sort of barriers, socioeconomic, racial, if anything breaks down barriers, it's music.
Yeah.
I love watching people react to new music of something completely different than what they normally listen to. It is so awesome.
I have one gripe with that. I love it too. But the thing that drives me nuts, and this also goes for trailer reactions, is when they pause the song and they talk.
Oh,
they go
yes.
15 seconds in and they're like, oh, well, I really think this is a really good song. I mean, this is, it's like there's a flow, especially with trailers, especially with music. But with trailers, there's a flow, there's a buildup, you keep pausing it. We don't care what you think. Tell us as you're listening to it, but just review it after. It's just,
Well,
I don't know
why they do that.
I'll write it in the comments.
Some of that is to avoid strike.
Yeah, they do that on purpose because it's. Yeah, that's the reason they stopped, and they're trying to avoid the algorithm hitting them.
Then do how you do watch-alongs and have somebody just play the song or something. Do something different.
Yeah.
You're not getting the actual experience of listening to a song if you have to pause it every 15 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean I get you, but yeah, there's some like there's one video and it's a music reaction video that I'm not even talking like hyperbole. I've watched it at least 200 times because anytime there's like I feel any sort of negativity, if I feel down at all, I'll go watch this video of these people reacting to this song, and it immediately makes my mood better.
Cool. That's awesome.
But yeah, I love seeing people like discover the things like, and in a theater, I would absolutely love if they brought back, and I know they do it occasionally, like Scream, the original Scream goes back to theater.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go and just be surrounded by people who've never seen it. I think that would be the greatest thing ever.
I got the privilege of that happening. I can't remember. I think it's just when we did like midnight movies, whatever. It's like in the mid 2000s, and we went to Scream, and there were a row of girls in front of us that had never seen it. And it was so fun watching them. Like you'd anticipate, like they're gonna jump on this, they're gonna jump on that. Yeah, it was super fun.
I'm jealous.
Go to Scream 2. Maybe there'll be people.
I think I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny says he's a music reactor. They pause it because of the labels and manage like to bar.
I get it, but it's just it's just
well,
it's not a reaction. Sorry.
All right, I give you something. Do you want? I have an assignment for you guys. If you like music reaction videos, I've got one that you need to highly recommend after this stream to do it. Just go spin. The name of the artist is Steve Vai, V-A-I. Steve Vai. He does instrumental guitar music, and really talented.
What songs is it going to be?
And it's going to be called Tender Surrender.
Okay.
And let me just tell you, there is a holistic, intimate experience between him and his guitar. And you have got to watch this music video. Just put in Steve Vai, Tender Surrender reactions.
Okay.
Is he
pop him up? He was taught guitar by his guitar teacher is Joe Satriani. You know who Joe Satriani is?
It's either Joe or Steve Vai that's surfing with the alien.
That's Joe Satriani. That's his guitar teacher. That's who taught Steve Vai.
That's one of the best guitar songs, in my opinion, in the world. Surfing with the alien. That one.
Yes.
That's one I love.
It's a killer song. And Steve Vai's music is in the same genre of Joe Satriani. It's very similar. They're very similar to each other. And he learned how to play from Joe Satriani, and he's a wicked, wicked player. Really, really good. And you just have to watch these reaction videos. You're going to love it. So if you want a good time, yeah. In fact, maybe after we cut the stream before we all say goodnight, we'll watch one together. And we can all watch one on YouTube together. And
let's go. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Right.
Not yet. There's still more to talk about.
Yeah. We will start to kind of wind things down a bit, but We've been going 3 hours and 21 minutes, so we're going to start to wind down. But I'll tell you something. You guys are awesome. We're 40 people in the live chat at 2:10 almost Eastern AM on a work school night, which is pretty darn amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys are killing it out there. Jennifer says, I enjoy the Scream reaction videos. I do too. I know some are fake, but they can be entertaining. They can be very entertaining. And there's the reveal Billy and Stu when and people don't expect there to be two killers, just like all of us never expected two killers, or most of us anyway. I was blown away, and it's almost like you get to feel that again for the first time through their reactions again. It's really cool.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, like the biggest thing for me is like when Billy comes back. When people see Billy turn, they're like, "Oh no," because they thought he was dead the whole time.
Yeah, how's he still alive? I hear people say like that's like my daughter said, "How's he still alive?" That's what she said when we watched it a couple of days ago. Corn syrup. Like, oh, yeah.
Same stuff they use for pig's blood and Carrie.
Same thing. He's just right.
I still believe that when there's no blood on that blade, when after Billy gets stabbed and then he puts it on there to wipe it off, I don't think that's continuity. I think that's clever. I think that was done on purpose.
I promise you it was done on purpose, whatever it was, because, I mean, J.P. Jones even talked about, who's the prop master. He said that when they filmed that screen, because remember, there were no digital cameras back then, right? This is 1996. And he said, I was just watching part of that behind-the-scenes stuff I got from Anthony Massey.
There you go.
And he was talking, the sex bots. Hang on a second.
Oh, no, they're back.
Oh, goodness.
They're back. They are relentless tonight. Dude, come on.
Only during the Scream stuff.
I know.
I was about to say, like,
Scream is a trigger or whatever that word would be.
Well, I mean, hypothetically, it does somewhat make sense when you think about it.
Yeah, it could be one of their trigger words for
Whatever
erotic stuff. But one of the things J.P. Jones was saying was that Wes was such a he didn't use the word freak, it's not the right word. He was so serious about continuity that they would take Polaroids every night after shooting. They would take Polaroids of everyone's shirts, pants, everything. And so and these are instant cameras, the instant cameras. And he said they had binders of photos from this, because Wes, the next day, they open the binder, they get everything set to the exact continuity as the day before. That's the level of detail Wes put into these Scream films that he filmed. Because like scene 118 is over 3 weeks out there at that stew house. And
they have shirts that are saying, I survived scene 118.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and there's no continuity. If you watch Scream again, you cannot tell that's not what it looks like one night. There's nothing off on a shirt, on the blood, everything. And so
it really looks like they got it in one take, in my opinion. It didn't even take
does.
It was like one take.
And that's all because of Wes's sticking for continuity. So he said we had all these photographs, binders of photos, because Wes wanted everything perfect. So if there's something in that movie, I don't think it's an accident, Brett.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? The scene though. So he comes in, he's slashing, and he's slashing. It's Billy, and then he turns to Sydney. And he's like, Sydney, and he falls on the bed. You can see that there isn't blood on the blade, but then Stu puts his hand over it, and then the next shot there is, and he wipes it off. Just show her he's wiping off the blood.
Got you.
And someone's like, no, it's just continuity. I've gotten so much crap for that. Like, no, it's just a continuity error. It's like, I don't think so. I think Wes Craven's really, really, really smart, and that was kind of a moment where if you pay attention, you could be like, wait, there's no blood on the blade, but then there is. Like, later on you look back and you're like,
yes, it is.
Because how would the blood be on the blade?
Corn syrup on the blade to wipe it off.
Exactly. Like, it sounded like they really stabbed him. So, anyway.
Well, guys, we're gonna meet. I'll meet you guys. We're gonna meet backstage in a second. Guys, we're at 3.5 hours, so we're gonna call it a night. But this was so much fun. Gentlemen, I hope you all had fun tonight. This was a spirited stream. I thought it was great.
Wonderful time.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great. So much fun.
Debates.
Yeah,
Great.
those are fun.
Guys, we're going to go ahead and call it again. Now, this Wednesday morning, 10:30 a.m., I'm going to be streaming for my Kicking Back with Craven on Wednesday morning. So I hope you guys can come hang out for a little morning stream chat. And I'm trying to think what else. That's all I'll talk about for now. I'll leave it at that. There's a lot of stuff in the works. There's still something I'm working with Eric on. I guess it'll probably be October now. Though we're going to still be having that that Stu Mocker script table reading that we're going to do, so stay tuned. It's going to be a fun event, very different event than a normal live stream. It's going to be kind of like theater, somewhat. So stay tuned in the works. Anything, and please, guys, go subscribe to the Beard Entertainment, Huntingford Entertainment, Brett James Bishop, and follow Brett on Instagram. And what's that call sign?
So the handle is @ShapeOfHalloween. If you do @TheShapeOfHalloween, it will go to a dude's site that he has different Michael Myers costumes. So @ShapeOfHalloween is my film.
@ShapeOfHalloween on Instagram.
Yep.
Perfect. So guys, go check it out. And I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday and a wonderful Wednesday, even if you can't make the stream, a wonderful week for that matter. And I hope you're all just get a great night's rest tonight. Unless you're at work, then stay awake. Don't go to sleep on the job. We want to stay employed. So otherwise, I hope you guys rest well. And I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for your super chats tonight. Thank you for all of your. We had 50 people as an average almost the entire night, which was pretty darn amazing for a Monday night at this late. So good stuff, guys. And I will see you backstage here on the panel, but everyone else, I'll see you on Wednesday morning. Goodbye, folks. Take care. See ya.
Later.